Today's word is SCHADENFREUDE. It's a long word. Schadenfreude. It's a noun.
Schadenfreude means a feeling of pleasure or satisfaction when something bad happens to someone. For example, many social media users express Schadenfreude over celebrities' public scandal.
Schadenfreude. Today's word is SCHADENFREUDE. It's a long word. Schadenfreude. It's a noun.
Schadenfreude means a feeling of pleasure or satisfaction when something bad happens to someone. For example, many social media users express Schadenfreude over celebrities' public scandal.
Schadenfreude.
Right, so that's our word of the day, and as we always advise, learn a word or two every week to enrich your vocabulary, right?
This one is quite a mouthful, but I'm pretty sure that you can say Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. Okay, so a new word has been learned. We'll move on, and we'll bring you our video of the day, something to excite you and lighten up your mood on this nice Wednesday morning. It's time to take a look at that.
Re, mi, fa, sol.
You're welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I'm Serwaa. It's time for Inside Out. So on Inside Out this morning, we continue with the conversation on Galamsey. It's been a very long road since 2017. Yesterday I was telling you guys that we've been talking about Galamsey, even though Galamsey has been with us for so many years. But we know that this president, when he was sworn in 2017, said he was putting his presidency on the line. This administration has had 300 million cedis to fight Galamsey. They've had to implement or introduce a lot of measures in a bid to fight Galamsey. Unfortunately, we still are where we are and we haven't been able to fight Galamsey. And we know that there have been growing calls for something to be done urgently. And one of the many, institutions, one of the institutions to ask for this is organized labor. But it appears that organized labor itself is not very organized.
Well, I don't know. There are cracks,
Certainly.
seeming cracks, and there are accusations that are being leveled against certain elements or certain members of organized labor about being political, right? There is a certain perception that has been created now that because some of the members of organized labor, probably even in the Ghana Medical Association, because they are sympathetic or empathetic towards the NPP and probably government, they are being used as stooges to break the front of organized labor. Because the Ghana Medical Association, we know, has now said that they are abstaining from the strike that organized labor intends to embark on. But in principle, they agree with every effort when it comes to the fight against illegal small-scale mining. And I find that very interesting. And I don't know how organized labor went about mobilizing everybody to rally behind this one cause, which is of national importance, so that we drive home a point to compel the government of the day, especially the president, to act on certain demands that have been made. Organized labor has the power to act and to compel, because when they are united, present a very united front and be able to really drum home their demands and drum home their points, the government listens. And what organized labor is doing is on behalf of every single Ghanaian. Because as you've seen many times, like you are watching the images on the screen now, what Galamsey is doing to us is not something that anybody from outer space or from a different country should come and tell us, that it's just going to kill us eventually. We need to do something about it, because we are sitting on a ticking time bomb and it's just a matter of time before we are unable to drink our own water, we're unable to treat our own water, we'll have to start importing water. I'm pretty sure you've heard that being said over and over again. And it's not for any reason that it's being said over and over again. It's because it's actually the reality on the ground. So when people are supposed to present a united front, and there seems to be a break in the ranks, then it leaves room for all of these speculations and all of these suspicions. It started with the meeting with the president, where some members of organized labor said they were not aware and they were not at the meeting, and certain resolutions were made. And it would have seemed as though government has succeeded in breaking the ranks of organized labor, because it will be to the benefit of government if they don't go on strike, right? And so government, they will do what they can do to divide and conquer. But that seemed not to have worked, because organized labor came and reiterated that they want to still embark on the strike. And now the Ghana Medical Association says, as for we've not been consulted properly, and so we are not part of the strike. Sort of throwing some pins and spanners into the spokes of organized labor and their momentum.
Lantam, I am surprised, because even before this renewed calls, and the fights, those renewed fights against Galamsey by the protesters and whatnot, we had seen several reports. We had spoken to many doctors who had talked about the strange cases they were getting in their consultation rooms as a result of, these Galamsey activities. They tell us about children getting strange diseases, born with deformities, people getting cancers, people coming up there with very strange diseases. So I would have expected them to actually be the first to, back this call and say that as doctors, knowing the devastating effect of Galamsey, we're going to actually lead this strike. Unfortunately, we are not seeing that. And the GMA is not the only institution that is sort of, backing down. We saw what happened in the Ashanti region as well. And that was expected because the Ashanti region is a stronghold of the NPP.
Obviously.
But I am surprised and not surprised. You remember over the weekend, Manasseh was talking about the fact that government was trying to get to certain people to back down. And like he said, it will be in the interest of government if this strike doesn't happen. But it appears that this decision by the Ghana Medical Association is not, a unanimous decision. Because if you have paid attention, anytime the Ghana Medical Association releases a statement, it is co-signed by the General Secretary and the President and issued by the Secretary. But this one, it was only signed by the President. And then we are seeing another say, so that's what the President
of the Ghana
Medical Association issued, that the GMA has not declared roadmap for an industrial action, and therefore all members are expected to continue providing full services without interruptions. The GMA, however, is in solidarity with organized labor in this fight against Galamsey, and the National Executive Council will give further information when necessary. Now, we know that a former director of the Ghana Medical Fund, Dr. Vishnu Lemon, I hope I got it right, has also come out to petition for the removal of the president of the Ghana Medical Association in what he describes as the president unilaterally issuing a statement without recourse to the National Executive Council or the General Assembly. And so it tells you that there's serious crack, even in the, beyond, organized labor, even in the Ghana Medical Association. They don't seem to have a united front on what they want to do. Person A wants, or probably maybe the National Executive Council wants to embark on the strike, but the president believes that no roadmap has been given, or no directive has been given.
There was a press conference, on this, and there was the explanation that it was put to a vote. And there are about an overwhelming majority of members of the association who voted not in favor of the strike. And there were just about 5 people who voted in favor of the strike. And they were supposed to, continue with more consultations and whatever. But before they could actually get to the point where they have a concrete decision, the decision that had already been taken through the vote leaked. And so it's causing a stir and what have you. But my point is, Ghana Medical Association, this strike that organized labor wants to embark on is in the interest of the country. The president does not want to declare the state of emergency on Galamsey activities, you see, and it's about time that leaders of unions and anybody who is in a leadership position who has the capacity and the power to influence for the right thing to be done, they have to stand up, because we are talking about our future here. So why can't the medical association, even the GPRTU, are deciding that they want to join organized labor on this intended strike and actually not drive any of their vehicles to wherever passengers will want to go, because they want to drum home the point. If organized labor is able to be united and drum home the point that we can't tolerate this illegal mining that is going on, because it is going on with reckless abandon. You saw the Minerals Commission boss in front of Government Assurances Committee in Parliament talking about how several attempts have been made to get mining to stop behind a police station at Yinem, and it has not been done. And the police have also come and responded that they've done a certain operation and they've arrested people and all of that. You see, so the illegal mining situation is bad enough. So why can't you join this united front, declare a strike, let it bite? At least you can do a sit-down strike, attend to emergency and very critical services, and with the normal services that that you can allow go, do not offer those services in solidarity with organized labor, because you are part of organized labor. All the unions come together because we have UTAG, we have all of these people joining the fray and saying that, look, we need to drum home this message. So why can't the GMA do this? Why can't, because what, and even before you come in again, you look at all the people in government that we have heard talk about, we don't want to stop Galamsey, we are not going to stop mining. We are going to allow you to mine and all of that. And then when you look at all the cases of Galamsey and the number of licenses that have been issued and the number of people who are even doing legal mining with licenses but have gone beyond their bounds of their legal concessions to mine illegally in other areas. A lot of the Galamsey going on is also done by people who are actually legally or who have the legal mandate or the license to mine, but they've gone beyond their bounds and they are doing the Galamsey. And a lot of them are politically exposed people. And they are making comments like, don't stop Galamsey today, don't stop Galamsey tomorrow, and all of that. It just paints a clear picture of the lack of political will of this government to deal with the Galamsey. And now there is a united front that is supposed to push governments to act on it, and then one of them is breaking ranks. So they are breaking ranks.
You know, this conversation about Galamsey, it's as sad as it sounds, you know, it gets annoying, but you can't give up because it's Ghana, right? And that's all we have. I back whatever call to get government to do what it has to do. However, I don't think that it will be in our own interest to ban mining totally. You know, for that, because you speak with experts, Lantam, and they tell you that we can't afford as a nation to actually ban mining, not Galamsey. Of course, we have to ban Galamsey. We have to put a stop to it. But one of the things that organized labor is asking for is a complete ban on mining. That, I believe, is what government is finding very difficult to.
A ban on all small-scale mining activities.
Yes, and I believe that will be very difficult for government. I really hope, you know, because the Minister for Information says that they're still consulting. I really hope that they're able to make certain decisions that will inure to the benefit of all, and at the same time not hurt our revenue inflow as they have claimed. I don't know how, and I have very little hope because, I mean, we've had over 7 years to deal with this and we haven't been able to do it. So I can understand those who say that if for 7 years you haven't been able to do it, banning small-scale mining won't hurt anyway because you haven't been able to do anything when it's been going on. But I really hope that, you know, we find a solution to this. I like I have said that I am for anything that will get government to do what it has got to do. But a strike now will hurt so much. It will hurt more than any other time that it has happened. You know that. And even though I don't totally agree with the medical association, anytime, you know, doctors are going on strike, I feel it. Because I look at the repercussions of what the strike is going to do to the ordinary Ghanaian, you know, and it totally breaks my heart. I really hope that we're able to find a solution to this. And yeah, I really hope so. But let's
when it comes to their remuneration and their conditions of service and the monies that they will get or they can get from government, that one they are resolute and ready to go on strike.
Even with that,
they are resolute and ready to go on strike, and they declared the strike. The medical association, doctors, we have gone on strike, and they declared the strike, and then they're able to use that to drum home their point for government to listen to them before they go on strike. But when it comes to something which is actually an existential threat for the entire country, and they can be a part of dealing with the situation, that one there, we have not been consulted and we cannot go on strike. But if it is your conditions of service, that's one there, you go on strike. You will sit down because you say government is not listening to you, they are not increasing your allowances and all of that. But the Galamsey, we've not been consulted.
As sad as it sounds, we have politicized the fight against Galamsey. And as expected, you have persons who are sympathizers of the NPP, and you have those who are also for the NDC. And so it is expected, right? Because if government bans small-scale mining and takes all of the actions that organized labor is asking them to do, it will be a political capital for the NDC. And so government will do its best to make sure that it can get to those that it can get to ensure that this strike doesn't happen. We have politicized it. If we were looking at it, like the way that we look at other issues, we probably would have, gone farther and achieved more.
But government should not be looking at whether this thing has been politicized or not. government should be looking at what has the Galamsey done to us as a country. That is what is first and foremost most important. Of course, for the politics in this country, because we are so polarized, there are always elements who will do politics with everything. But that is besides the point. The point when Kenashigbe and the media coalition and all the other individuals are calling for us to deal with Galamsey, are they doing it from a political coloration? Are they doing it from a political lens, or they are doing it from the perspective of Galamsey will kill us? It's just a matter of time. It will kill us. So we shouldn't care whether or not somebody is politicizing it. It is elements within their own government who are also politicizing this, standing on political campaign platforms in mining areas and telling people all kinds of things that they want to hear because they want to gain political capital out of it. And the NDC will also go and stand on their campaign platforms and say whatever they want to say to people in mining areas to gain political capital out of it. But as the president of the country and as the government of the day, you are the president for each and every single Ghanaian, even if they are NDC or they are MPP or they are PNC or they are whoever. So government shouldn't look at that. Government shouldn't look at that. They should look at dealing with the issue. And I'm disappointed at the Ghana Medical Association that they don't want to join this, because the point of the strike is to make a certain demand. And let me just say this finally, right, that the reason why there is a call for the ban on all mining activities is that even those who are licensed to mine are doing Galamsey, a lot of them. And a lot of them are politically exposed people who have portfolios within this government. And the people themselves in government know. So let's stop it. And then look at a roadmap to actually vetting the licenses, doing an audit, and, actually putting in place the necessary measures to really deal with it. Because it's been a charade, the fight from 2017. It's been a charade, a total charade. A total charade. And it has to stop. So I support the strike fully. If I'm going to suffer repercussions because of the strike, but we are going to in future have cleaner waters and not poisonous chemicals in our lands and our food, I'm all for it.
All right. Okay. Well, that'll be it for Inside Out. Stay with us. All right, it's time for Court Today with Captain.
Captain.
Lantam.
Captain.
Two of you are firing this morning, and I support whatever you guys have said here. The call to stop Galamsey, we need to.
You support whatever we've said?
Yes.
In class, when they ask questions, they don't have anything to say. I support.
On the backs of the question.
There was a case that I was following in court, and then one lawyer made argument substantially in favor for bail, and then the other lawyer also was supposed to say something and said, just to associate myself with my learned counsel's submission.
So you associate with what we have said, right?
Because if I'm going to my village today, Lantam, I'm supposed to go to the village and chop fresh food. But when I get to condition, I'm now buying foodstuffs to go to the village.
Because they've used all the land
have been destroyed.
They are not farming. Cocoa farms are being given up for Galamsey.
I go to the village. When I go to the village, because that's where I grew up, I drink water from the village, from the streams.
No, you can't.
Now when I'm going, I have to buy bottled water.
You can't.
To the village.
You can't.
Before I can survive. Because when I don't, and I'll come back sick. What kind of country are you?
Anyway, Court Today now.
Yes, well.
So Mutala Inusa is here in the studio with the details from what's been happening. Yesterday he told us about how prepared the Judicial Staff Association was, or should I say the Judicial Service was, to receive the petition from the protesters, right?
Family values match.
The family values match.
Yes. Yesterday the match was very massive. So that is the premises of the Supreme Court, and the delegation from the Chief Justice, led by the Registrar of the Supreme Court was there, the PRO of the service was there, the Director of Communication was there, the Deputy was, so you could see them, all of them have lined up, and then the Judicial Secretary, Justice Pamela Corantin, was also there. So this is the pictures that we've seen are the premises of the court. So this was the time after they have received the petition from the protesters. In fact, Sam George presented the particular petition to the judiciary, and so it was received yesterday. Like I said, if you come to the premises of the Supreme Court, even all the entrances of the Apex Court were blocked, and so those are some of the scenes. So this is the law court complex. That particular section also, we had a lot of police sections all over just to make sure that the protesters, when they arrive, everything will be very, very safe. And so that was what happened in relation to that. The judiciary, or the judicial service, led by the judicial secretary yesterday, they acknowledged that and assured that they are going to work everything. In fact, if you see the list, the chronology of events up to where we are, when the cases are filed, tomorrow will bring you that when the cases were filed, all the application that took place, all the dates in which each of the applications were filed, each of the cases were filed, when the parties filed their submission, other applications, and all of that. Then you have an informed view of what is happening in relation to these pending cases at the Supreme Court, and then you understand whether it is the judicial service that is delaying the cases, the Supreme Court that is delaying the cases, or the parties involved. But what we are being told now, what is clear is that the parties, even the joint memorandum of issues that they are supposed to file for the Supreme Court to deal with the issues, they have not filed. Next week, the court will be dealing with an application from the Speaker of Parliament for extension of time to file its defense in relation to the applications or the cases before the Supreme Court. So next week we'll know more, but tomorrow we'll bring you that chronology of events from day one. Richard Sky, when he filed, all the processes that he has filed to date, Dr. Amanda Odoy, all the processes that she has filed to date, and what when the court dealt with those issues and where we are at this particular point in time. So tomorrow we should expect that.
So the petitions were received?
Yes.
I think there was one to the Attorney General as well.
Yes, they presented one to the Attorney General, and then after, the Chief Justice was the last, or the Judicial Service was the last that they did, and it was received by the Registrar of the Supreme Court.
How receptive were they? How receptive were they of the protesters when they came to present the petition?
Of course, they were ready for that particular petition to receive. And notice that the day before, the management of the Judicial Service issued a statement to the staff and said, look, there's going to be a lot of security personnel deployed to the premises of the court. So everybody should be calm. We want the cooperation of everybody. And you could see from the atmosphere, everybody was ready. In fact, some few minutes before the protesters arrived, you could see police officers line up, delegation from the Chief Justice Office line up, the Judicial Secretary came in closer to the entrance, and when they arrived, it was very easy for them to receive. So it was very, very, very cordial when they received. Sam George made a statement, read what was in the petition to them, gave an ultimatum as when they want to hear a positive or a response or an action from the judiciary. And the recipient also acknowledged that before it was handed over to the Judicial Secretary, and then the CJ then will have it. So it was very cool. There was nothing that shows that they were not in support, they were not ready to receive the protesters. It was very, very nice. But it happened just at the main entrance. For those who are familiar with the Supreme Court, you see that the main gate, immediately they opened the gate, the rep or the delegation from the Chief Justice just stood in there. And the Honorable Sam George presented the petition to her, and then they took it away. So that's what happened in relation to this very case.
Okay.
All right. Yesterday in court as well, 52 out of the 53 protesters.
Good news. And
were granted
the lawyers were very satisfied. So 52 of them have been granted bail. Monday, 21 of them had been granted by the High Court. And in fact, some of them had the application for bail at the High Court before going to the Circuit Court. And at the High Court, prosecution indicated that they have opposed to those applications. There were 2, and the 2 were dealing with the remaining 31. They said that they were opposing to that. The court said it hasn't received a copy, and the defendant or the applicant, I must say, the accused persons, they have also not received copies of the position from the Attorney General's office. So the case was then adjourned to today before they appeared at the Circuit Court. And the Circuit Court, the lawyers made oral agreement in respect of those who were not granted bail yet. So the 31 yesterday, His Honor Mr. Kwabena Obiyebua listened to them, and they said, look, prosecution made the point that once they have filed formal bail applications at the High Court, the court should rather allow the High Court to deal with the issue. But the court said, look, you are looking at accused persons who the Constitution says that are innocent until proven guilty, and the court will have to protect the fundamental human rights of the accused person. On that basis, the court is saying that each of the accused persons who have been granted bail before are admitted bail. But the difference is that those granted bail at the High Court, if you take the Ama Governor's set, 9 of them, they were granted bail in the sum of 70,000 Ghana cedi with 2 sureties who are supposed to deposit their Ghana card and digital addresses to the registrar of the court and report to the police once a week. Then you look at the Oliver Barker's set, at which he was refused bail. But all those in that particular set, the court granted them bail in the sum of 20,000 cedis with 2 sureties. The court said the prosecution or the investigators should investigate their digital addresses to be able to verify those digital addresses. And then it ended there. And so yesterday, those are the Circuit Court. Their bail sum was 20,000 Ghana cedis, but 1 surety. So you could see that the sureties change it, defining. So yesterday, all of them together. And then the prosecution made the point that they have filed the first batch of disclosures. Those are the document processes, document that in relation to this case, evidential material that they use to prosecute them. However, they will need time to file more. And the court is saying that an order has been given for you to file disclosures. You haven't done that fully. Accused person cannot be in detention once you've not complied fully with the orders of the court. On that basis, all of them were granted bail. So if you ask me all about the protesters, after 2 weeks in detention, some of them were in prison custody, others were in police custody. All of them have been granted bail, except Oliver Barker, whom the court said, look, this is somebody who is already facing a criminal case at the criminal court 3, treason felony, 2 counts. He's pleaded not guilty, but he has been granted bail. And one of the conditions of that bail is for him to put up a good behavior. And now the same person has been brought back to the court of having involved himself in another offense. Now the court is wondering not about whether he will avail himself to stand trial, because that one, the court is convinced that he's somebody that will avail himself to stand. But the question now is, will he not commit another offense when granted bail? Then we need to ask ourselves a question here. Now the Constitution is saying that until proven guilty, you are innocent. And if you look at the section 96, 5C, it talks about the fact that it talks about bail, issue of how the court can grant you bail or not. And the court is saying that particular is saying that the court should be convinced that you are not going to commit another crime. So does that mean that you have already been found guilty of committing a crime? So those are questions that we'll be asking ourselves and all that. So on the basis of that particular issue, the court said granting Oliver bail for now. That's what the High Court said, and said that within 72 hours, the Circuit Court should start the trial of Oliver. Yesterday, because prosecution could not file their disclosures fully, it is putting that 72 hours in doubt. So the lawyers made a bail application, making that point to the court. The court said, we have not yet clocked the 72 hours. So let's not go there for now, but come formally for the prosecution to respond to that. And they agreed to do that. So Monday, 14th of October,
right,
they'll be back in court. But meanwhile, Ama Governor's set will rather come on Friday, on 11th of October.
But we understand that even though they've been granted bail, they are still in custody.
Yes.
Because there are certain processes that need to be completed that have not been completed. I heard some of them complain that there are deliberate frustrations of the bail process for them to be released. So even though they're on bail, they are still in custody. What's happening there?
So one of the things that I do know about bail is that once you are granted bail now, it doesn't mean that you are leaving the court to go. Those conditions that the court spelled out, you need to satisfy those conditions.
Yeah.
So if the court is saying produce 2 sureties, their Ghana card and their digital addressing system should be verified. All those things need to be satisfied by the investigators before you are allowed to go and come and sign and you leave. If the court is saying that if prosecution is not, the investigators are not convinced with the sureties that you produce, the chances are that you still be with the police. So yesterday, even in the premises of the court, I saw some of the sureties who have come in relation to some of the accused persons who were already on bail. And I'm sure that those who satisfy the bail condition, I've seen accused persons who have been granted bail, and still they are in lawful custody because they could not meet those bail conditions. So until you meet the terms given by the court, you'll still be with the police.
Well, we'll see how all of that plays out. And thank you very much, Murtala Yunusa, for bringing us court today. I think Alhaji Collins Dawda is expected later on in court today, right?
Sagleme affordable housing case. Yes, that case
we'll look forward to
yesterday it started and today it will continue.
All right. Thank you very much. Murtala Yunusa there, always bringing us the details from the courts. And we'll take a break here. And when we return, the breakfast review will be on. It's a Wednesday, and so it's an all-woman panel. We are doing the Woman Crush Wednesday, and it's very nice. Later on, we also have another conversation with one of the pioneering ladies in the oil and gas sector. We'll have a conversation with her as well here on the show today. And of course, I'll always tell you that if you like what you see me wearing today, it was provided by The Authentic Man. Yes, The Authentic Man, making me look authentic this morning. So call The Authentic Man and get yourself a very nice, well-fitting suit. Call him.
So it's time to take you through the newspapers, and then we'll check what's online very quickly. The Daily Graphic: election not a religious contest. GPCC, 2 political parties, and the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council are saying that elections are not religious contest. Independent media regulation vital for clean election. And Zoom Lion Nigeria secures a waste management deal. Ashanti Bauxite Limited unveils mine refinery plans. Right, so that's it for the Daily Graphic. The Insight newspaper: Galamsey is now organized crime. Center for Public Opinion and Awareness tells government calls for declaration of state of emergency and ban to end menace. Okay. And Alan's running mate shakes Central Region and gives hope to traders and fisherfolk. Togbi Salu III urges youth to shun warmongering politicians as he celebrates 70 years of reign at Anlo. And prior protest against Galamsey unnecessary. This is according to a human rights lawyer who is shading the Catholic Church and political actors. Remember, if all goes well, tomorrow, organized labor will begin their strike. And also, we know that there's a prior protest against Galamsey by the Catholic Church and some persons. So all of that will be happening tomorrow, and trust that we'll be here to bring you coverage of it. The new crusading guide, uproar at NACOC. Officers' personnel rage against DG's uniform gamble. And we never promised to release provisional voters register in a week. That's according to the Electoral Commission. Okay, Alan has best plans for nursing trainees. This is according to his running mate. So that's it for the new crusading guide. The Herald, Ghanaian Times newspaper, stop Galamsey fight, blame game. This is according to Professor Boateng. And we have said countless times that if we continue to politicize the fight against Galamsey, we're clearly, certainly not going to win it because it's a national problem now. We are fully prepared for election 2024. This is according to the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare. And so that's it for the Ghanaian Times. The Daily Searchlight also talks about election 24, talking about a Mahama victory would amount to a constitutional coup. Is that so? I see. Brim Central MCE refutes allegations. Brim River, we've also seen many people mining on there as well. So that's it for the newspapers. I'm going to quickly take you through what's trending online, and I will let's bring you that. Trending, we go to X, formerly known as Twitter, and of course you see that our show streams on X as well. You can watch it there. And on what's trending, organized labor is sitting at number 1, and understandably so, because tomorrow they're expected to start their strike, all in industrial action. Will that happen tomorrow? Well, we don't know, because there appears to be deep cracks within organized labor. The unism that we saw during the SNIT hotel sale, we are not seeing it now, because in the Ashanti region, we are seeing some members say they don't agree. Here, the Ghana Medical Association, well, in what some will say is a unanimous, unilateral decision by the president, they also say they are not really for the strike, but they are for any fight against illegal mining. So will the strike happen tomorrow? I don't know, but I'm here to report to you. And so they are trending at number 1. And then there's football as well, but I doubt you'll be very much interested in that this morning. I know that the Black Stars are playing tomorrow. We wish them the best. I'm not going to hold my head up and hold my breath, but I wish them the very best. Let's go to starfm.com.gh. If you want more news, go to starfm.com.gh. Ignore NPP. Poultry farming is a good job. This is according to Professor Opokwajiman. And on Galamsey, what happens to the resources given to the military to protect water bodies? Very good question. In fact, I was telling you that this government has had 300 million cedis to fight Galamsey. Why we didn't win the fight, I don't know. And I believe that we deserve to know. There's an interministerial committee, 5 membership, that has been formed by the president. Even before the formation of that committee, I still believed that we should have been told why we lost the fight or why we are where we are. But we still weren't told that. No explanation as to what we used the 300 million for. But yeah, this country, that's how things are. On election 2024, EC is confident of surpassing 2020 79% voter turnout. And on the Democracy Hub protesters, we were telling you earlier that 52 out of the 53 protesters have been granted bail except Oliver Baka Bomawor. And you've been following us since yesterday. We've been explaining to you, our correspondent, on the main reasons why the judge refused bail for Oliver. And sometimes, read small. Sometimes you need to read. It's the misinformation and disinformation is just so heartbreaking, especially on social media. When all of this bail conversation came up, somebody saying that, hey, they are asking for 70,000 Ghana cedis before they release people for asking for clean water. Please, there are so many lawyers around. Improve your contact list. Make sure your contact list has a lawyer, has a doctor, a policeman, important people, not gossip partners, so that when something comes up in the country, you can call for information. Don't come and sit on social media and, let everybody see how ignorant you are. It's not nice. It's not nice. That's just personal advice, by the way. So yesterday as well, some judge led a team to march to the Supreme Court and also to the AG's office to present a petition over what he terms as delay in hearing the cases that have been brought against the anti-gay bill. And so yesterday these petitions were presented. So that's it for Star FM. On Daily Graphic, we have told you already what's on there because it's in the newspapers as well. That's it for what's trending. Stay with me. After the break, the ladies are here and we'll get into the conversation. This is GH Today.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. The van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the track and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
Welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I am Serwaa Amihere. It's time for the breakfast review. This morning is today's Wednesday, so we're talking to the women. I'm joined by Hajia Gloria Menu. She's a member of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Good morning. And Tabitha, is that it? Tabitha or Thabita?
Either way.
Which one is the correct one?
Okay, so some say Tabitha, some also say Tabitha, so it depends.
Oh, it's Tabitha.
Yeah.
Okay, Tabitha Ayela. She's the NPP's manifesto spokesperson on employment and labor relations. Good morning. And GHOne Salasi Ahiawodo Esquire is a member of the NDC's communications team. Good morning to all of you. Okay, so I want us to start off with what is supposed to happen tomorrow or intended to happen tomorrow. Organized labor served notice a couple of weeks ago that come October 10, they're going to embark on a strike. This is to drum home the points and the demands they have been making on governments to take certain actions against illegal mining. One of them is to ban mining activities, because we all know what Galamsey has done and is doing to us. As it appears, it may not happen or likely to happen, because we have seen the Ashanti region, for instance. Some members of organized labor say that they are not in support of the strike. And we have also seen the president of Ghana Medical Association say that there is no roadmap for the GMA to go on any strike. But in what appears to be a deeper crack within the GMA, a member has filed a petition for the removal of the president. But all of this is because organized labor is asking for government to take steps. And we know that when they gave notice that come October 10 they were going to embark on the strike, government met with them and had consultations with them. We saw a statement from the Ministry of Information giving very little information on the outcome of that meeting. And then there were rumors that the strike may not happen. And so organized labor came out to say that, yes, they've had meetings with the president or government, but it doesn't mean that the strike will not happen. Then the Ministry of Information released a subsequent statement saying that they are surprised that organized labor intends to go on with the strike, because at that meeting, they reached some conclusions. But organized labor too said that they are surprised that the Ministry of Information is surprised. Well, this morning, there's a statement by the Ministry of Information, once again, signed by the Minister for Information, and I'll quickly read it. And it says that government, in its continued efforts to clamp down on the long-standing menace of illegal small-scale mining, has concluded operational measures to intensify the ongoing Operation HALT, which is led by the Ghana Armed Forces to rid our river bodies of all forms of mining activities. This phase of the operation will be done in conjunction with the Small Scale Miners Association of Ghana. Government reasserts that river bodies and forest reserves remain red zones. Government reiterates its commitment to fight against illegal small-scale mining and calls on all stakeholders to join the fight. Tabitha, I hope that I got it right. Mm-hmm. Why now? And this Operation HALT, as the government is talking about, I thought that we had stopped it or we had ended it a while back. So we thought that all these groups had been disbanded.
They haven't. I don't think, at a point it was a bit relaxed, but not that they had totally stopped Operation HALT. Let me say a good morning to you and to all listeners this morning. And let me say a good morning to the NPP, and all those that are sympathizers of the NPP. Just on the 7th, our Vice President, Honorable, in fact, His Excellency, the second man of this country, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, celebrated his birthday. And I want to say a happy birthday to him. I know we are still celebrating his birthday, so I say a happy birthday to him. And I believe that by God's grace, on the 7th or by the close of the 8th of December, they will declare him as the president-elect of Ghana. Why not? Because we all know who Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is. I always say, look, this election, as we are going into it, we should be very careful that we are not distracted by facts. We shouldn't be distracted, because for some time now, like, we shouldn't be distracted by fiction. Sorry. Okay. If you observe the campaign so far, you realize that instead of issues dominating the campaign, it is rather propaganda and distortions that is taking a center stage in the campaign. And I asked myself some few days ago that, are we preparing the people of Ghana for elections, or we are just taking them on an emotional roller coaster? And I say, look, I think that it is time we start calling on media houses to be to help the people center the campaign on issues, and that we should not be whipped out of line. We are going into an election. This is not to say that what is currently going on in the country is not something that is worth discussing. No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that as much as possible, let's whip the presidential candidates in line. Let's put them in check and ensure that we are campaigning based on issues, but nothing else. Now, that being said,
is this not one of the issues that we should be campaigning based on?
Yes. So you see, this is where I was thinking that the media houses will start calling on presidential candidates to come and face the people of Ghana and give them their plan for solving Galamsey, because Galamsey has been with us for a very long time.
We should call on presidential candidates to give us their plan.
Yes.
When we have a president and a government that has had 300 million to fight Galamsey, and they haven't accounted for what the monies was used for and why we haven't succeeded, we should leave them and go and call on candidates to come and tell us their plan.
Them. That is
maybe if your government accounts to us and we deal with that, then we can call on those who are wanting to be president to come and give us their plan. And we ask them all the time. But your government has not been able to tell us why we are where we are, why upon everything and all the support that you got, the same media houses that you are asking to call on the candidates who gave you all the support to tell us why we didn't win this fight against Galamsey. Don't you agree?
I do agree with you perfectly. That's what I'm saying, that, but it still doesn't mean that it will be out of order to get these presidential candidates to come and tell us what their plan is. I don't think it is out of order. It isn't out of order. It is a brilliant call to say that, yes, what is the government doing? Of course, from the release you have just read, that is coming from the information minister, you can tell clearly that some initiatives have been taken. I remember there was a time I was discussing this issue with somebody, and I said, look, if there has been any government that has fought Galamsey, even with the police, using the military, it is only this government that has done that so far. And we can talk of Operation Vanguard. We can talk about Operation Halt. All these operations were done, of course, with the support of the military and the police service. But we all know what happened along the way. We heard that at a point, the security personnel were even in bed with these Galamseyers. At a point, all these things were coming out. A whole lot of things came. Look, that is why I'm saying that there should be a comprehensive approach. If force applied didn't yield the results that we are all looking for, then I think that it is time we sat down again and look at the whole thing all over again.
So after 7 years, Almost 8 years.
Before the 7 years.
You are telling us that we should... Let's not... You see, we know that Galamsey has been with us.
Yes.
For years.
Yes.
And that is why the president promised...
Yes.
To put his presidency on the line.
Which he did.
Now, after 7 years,
Which he did.
What did he do?
What he did was that, you remember before the 2020 elections, we faced Galamsey with so much force that we lost some seats.
What seats?
Some of the seats.
Please, which particular seats? I need you to tell me which seats, because tell me, which of the seats did you lose as a result of Galamsey?
Okay, so I read a report that was written by Benefson, and Benefson happens to be one person that does a lot of what they call it on politics, and he indicated in his report that due to the Galamsey fight, we lost over 30 seats. Yes.
Which seats?
Which I will provide you with that. Just give me some minutes. I will write it down here. Afterwards, I'll get it for you. Okay?
Benefson said that
yes.
the NPP lost 30 seats.
Yes.
As a result of their fight against Galamsey.
Yes. And I'll get you those details.
Where did he say
Don't
that?
Don't worry. I will give you the details.
Where
I
did
just want to
Benefson
note
say
it.
that?
It is part of his release. That's why I said
what
that.
What release? Where?
After the 2020 elections.
So you have the
So
report?
I said I will give you that. Just give me some minutes. I'll Google it out and give it to you.
So you don't know the specific.
I can't mention them offhand, but that doesn't mean
one.
Not even one. And I don't think that there is need to lie to you on a public platform. So please don't force me to say things that I
will not force you, but I'll give you time.
That is why I said I will note it down and get it for you. Another thing, you know, after the elections or during the 2020 elections, we all saw how some presidential candidates decided to posture themselves during the fight when we're fighting with the Galamseyers. They said that if you vote for me and I become president, I will give you amnesty. Just recently, there was another video of Professor Nana Jane telling people that Galamsey no yeba yembetwem na mrantie no edwuma be no wonbeye. She said these things. What I'm trying to tell you is
that
just
recently,
yes,
your ranking member for the health committee, or is it the chairman?
Yes,
he also said that they were not going to stop illegal mining.
I'm driving towards something.
So if you blame the NDC, you blame the NPP as well. I don't know the video you're talking about. I haven't heard the video that you're talking about.
Yes, if you have, I have the video.
Professor Jainano Pokwatiman,
I can send it to your producer.
These exact
I can
words
send it to your producer and they will play it on air. So that they know that, you see, there is a divided front.
Send it to me.
Yes. There is a divided front when it comes to the fight against Galamsey. And unfortunately, because we are in a campaign season, I have realized that the cane is only on the MPP without anybody paying attention to the service the NDC is doing to the fight against Galamsey. And I think that we should not cover this thing up. We should open it up for people to realize that when these things are going on, when we are in a campaign season, it doesn't help anybody. You will leave the politician no choice than to let them think that, look, you people don't want to have a comprehensive approach to solving the problem. Because if we are going into an election and there is a blind eye to what the opposition is doing, winning cheap political points, and unfortunately, I don't know whether the media is deliberately ignoring the fact that they are trying to derail, they are trying to sabotage us, I will speak it out. And I think that nobody, no political party should be seen scoring any political points with this fight. And I'm not surprised to see Labour Front being divided, because the honest truth is that some people are seeing beyond that we are fighting Galamsey, and they are seeing the political undertones, which are crying out to people, and people are deliberately paying blind eyes to these cries. The MPP from the get-go in our campaign has always spoken about policies that will inure to the benefit of every Ghanaian. You talk about our flagship programs, you talk about our social policies that we have introduced, that the NDC can never ever mention that they have been able to introduce any social policy that, regardless of your gender, regardless of your social status, you can have access to. It is only the MPP that has been able to do this. And because they have seen clearly that if they are going that tangent, they will lose the fight. They have decided to lay low and to allow us, just because we are currently the people that are occupying places of authority, to be the only people taking the lash. And it is not fair. So, it is not fair.
You know why this your call, and your plan to blame the NDC.
I'm not blaming them.
But you said that they're doing a disservice.
I am exposing the fact that why are they quiet? Why are you people quiet?
Tabitha,
you are quiet because it is benefiting you.
But Tabitha, your presidential candidate. Hold on. Your government has had 300 million cedis. You have the authority to command institutions to fight what we are all fighting and complaining about. You haven't done it, and you want to blame.
We have done
it. And you want to blame and
from
call people like somebody like Eke Adonko, who doesn't have any power, or somebody who is vying for the seat, to come and sign a pact or tell you that when they come, they will do A, B, or C to fight Galamsey. When you have had 8 good years, 8 solid years to do all these things, and you haven't done it, you want to lay the blame on the doorstep of another political party?
On anybody. The truth is that Galamsey is something that all Ghanaians need to help us fight.
Okay, hold on for me.
I'll send you the video.
Yes, but hold on with the video. I'll send the video, but I need you to find me the particular constituencies that you say that the NPP lost.
We lost, yes.
I need you to find it for me. Sure. It's very, very important for me. Let me come to you now, Hajia.
I'm surprised. For now in Ghana here, the most tedious job is to be an MPP communicator. That's the biggest job and very tedious. What we are talking about is Galamsey. It's affecting NDC, it's affecting MPP, it's affecting all of us. So I don't know how she should bring or associate this with politics.
I want you to hold on. We have that video that she talks about of Jainano Pokwajuman. Let's quickly play it.
Also, I Galamsey, no one soon say no. The man I say about for the near church I am ban, the more by na. In Sumara, all say I want up one bra, all say one a dachi, all say one in Bibia. Is in Shisha Pamone Ezerba, more by ya, Sadamana Banaso by ya, I channel quano ye. Na I channel quana agent the man and so I am on him. If you soon say I saw no one send, why and then no banadam. Into no ya some pakra Yazerba. Emebuno, Yamda wo here Juma. Almost can want in the 24-hour economy in Yazabana. Yasa no one so Siciano. On a yabaze. A Juma no re or Conenimano. Yanyu ran about Wakatina Hoboko. Maybe said uncle. It is I know hanging a Juma was na from a superior who are winning Jumanya. And I this for Boyan can say. Onye yamba na wenye jumanya no eso onko school akọ eso onko suazo ma pie da wo ye bia waye wo ye ya wotine fie also ya Galamsey na won sun say no the man na yeso e ba fodo ne a chiracha yamba da mo ba ye na nsunora on say won apo won bra on say won da ache on say won bibia nsin hihya pa mo na yezerba ma oba ya sadam na ba no so oba ya a kira no kwa na onye Pinu Chrome, also a Galamsey, no one soon say no. The man I share about for the near church I am ban, the more by na. In Sumara, all say I want up one bra, all say one a dachi, all say one in Bibia. Is in Shisha Pamone Ezerba, more by ya, Sadamana Banaso by ya, I channel quano ye. Na I channel quana agent the man and so I am on him. If you soon say yes or no, I send. Why and then no banadam. Into no ya some pakra, Yazerba. Emebuno, Yamda wo here Juma. Almost so can want in the 24-hour economy in Yazabana. Yasa no one so Siciano. On a yabaze. A Juma no re or Conenimano. Yanyu ran about Wakatina Hoboko. Maybe said uncle. It is I know hanging a Juma wo was na Mboframa so pi wo ho a wonye adwuma nye. Na ndisi fo bo ho yen kase onye yemba na wonye adwuma nye no. Eso onko school akọ eso onko suaze ma pie da wo ye bia wa ye. Wo ye ya wo tinefie. Onya zo ye baten bia daw. Inti e bokọ wura no ho ne ye kebisa nda na ebe ye dan na afadom kakra aka ho. Ebe no kwa na ye mboa wo. Ma obe ya ebotu ba afadom kakra eza aka wo adwuma no. Ebi abi bakado mi hia mfiri. Ebi ababakado ma manjuma ya mze adwuma ebo ma bra ma kafa bi so. No ya bra ha we. Ye hwe ne yentensen no na etu mama obi so wa abaka ho ho. Inti aka 24 economy na ebi ogbo no ho safo hendo ye economy so so ade na onye ye. Ade chi o so ade no po hada dawo. Na wa ye confuse o mi nja no mo on solve ni fear problems. En so ye fear problems no. Onye yamba na wonye adwuma nya no. All day for condo na ye. Into 24-hour economy ni ze. Oh me da do bia jatum. There is a bar or babwa. I say, it's in Sampani as abano. Hey, Ibinya Bazi. Eh, you know, ye jina hey. Yen you be there. I mean, Fiha Galamsey or Hapa. I know ye ha Galamsey for no hey. When you magana hanewa, and yan down putting a sabi with the gold waha. And then yan down putting yenya Galamsey waha. Nesenya bana, ona, a jumo bogun. Kakra or hono bogun, ono so on fe juman kawa. Eben as in a mebuno waye. Sawe who? It's an eben sampani ezerba. Yesterday, there may be no chrome. Also a Galamsey, no one soon say no. The man I say about for the near church I am ban, the more by an or the more by an hour. In sooner on say I want apple one bra, on say one a dachi, on say one in Bibia. And since she said Pamone Ezerba, more by ya, Sadamana Banasaw by ya, I channel one on ye. Na I channel one agent, the man and the sock I am on him. If you soon say I saw no I send, why done no banadam. Into no ya some pakra, Yazerba. A mebuno, Yanim de wo here juma. Almost can once in the 24-hour economy in Yazabana. Yasa no one so Siciano. On a yabaze. A juma no re or conenimano. Yan run about Wakatina Hoboko. Maybe said uncle. It is I know your hanging a juma. No. Hey, Ibinya Bazi. Eh, you know, ye jina hey. Yen you be there. I mean, Fiha Galamsey or Hapa. I know ye ha Galamsey for no way. When you magana hanewa, and yan down putting a sabi with the gold waha. And then yan down putting yenya Galamsey waha. Nesenya bana. Ona ejumo ho bogun kakra ho no bogun ono so on fa ejuma nka ho a ebe na ze na mebu no waye sawe hu itaye na ben sampa na ezerba yesterday da me bi no krom also ya Galamsey na won sun say no da ma na enso e ba fodo ne a kiracha yemba da mo obaye na nsunora on say on na po won bra on say won da achen on say one in Bibia. Is in Shisha Pamone Ezerba, Mobaya, Sadam and Banner saw by ya, a channel quano ye. Na a channel quana agent, the man and the shock I am on him. If you soon say yes or no, I send. Why and then no banadam. Into no ya some pakra, Yazerba. A mebuno, Yanim de wo here Juma. Almost can once in the 24-hour economy in Yazabana. Yes, or no one so.
Right, so you heard the running mates of the NDC, Professor Jinano Pokwajuman there, on one of the campaign platforms speaking about Galamsey. And Tabitha says she's encouraging people and members of the NDC to continue Galamsey, unless I didn't hear right. But I'll come back to you because Tabitha is very busy now. She's looking for the constituencies that the NPP lost as a result of their fight against Galamsey. Hajia.
Yes, dear. I'm surprised Tabitha is trying to defend and trying to make this thing politicalized. Galamsey is not something that we should look whether it's MPP or NDC. We are talking about our water bodies being destroyed. People are crying out. So I don't know what sabotage he's talking about. And I don't know the kind of issues we want to talk about at this moment. During election, everybody does the blame game. It's either NDC is blaming MPP and MPP is blaming NDC. That's what they've been doing and dragging issues all this while. But let's look at the fact that it is important we all cry out loud, including you yourself. Tabitha, you use water. I know you have family members who are in the rural areas. Those people, what are they doing? How are they surviving? What are they drinking? It's a matter of urgency and a concern. Since the president has decided to be quiet and not give us vivid explanations and informations about things that are going on, it's a worry for all of us. And it's a high time we should have been crying from years ago. 4 years, 3 years ago, we should be hitting on them hard, just as we are doing now. It's not that we want to sabotage them or steal votes or make them look as if they are not working at all. But this is a thing that we should have been doing long ago, and we're all quiet. But people have been able to voice out, and we are still making the Ghanaian people know that this thing is not an issue we should do blame games about. No, it's something we have to tackle, and it's now.
Hadia, what is your presidential candidate's plan to fight Galamsey? Because he was part of the administration that, had access to the funds. He was a cabinet minister. He saw what Galamsey was doing. What did he do? And what does he want to do now?
What he did before, because he wasn't directly involved. Now he has come out. He's brought out his own plans. And I think gradually MPP has started looking into the GTP and they are following it.
So what's his plan to fight Galamsey?
His plan was saying putting a stop to it for a year, aggressively putting rules and regulations down for Galamseyers to stop going to the lands upright.
But Galamsey is illegal, so there can't be any rules and regulations. So what exactly is the plan? I mean, if someone is watching and they don't know Alan's plan to fight Galamsey, I expect you to be able to tell them today that if you vote for Alan, here are the 5 things that he intends to do.
So there are 10 minutes. There are so many plans, I think it's 10, that Alan has brought out in the GTP. And he's saying that these are the things that he's going to do. Just a minute, I want to read so I don't make any mistakes.
While you find it, let me go to the NDC. Because you don't have it immediately, don't you?
I do.
So I'll come back to you. GHOne.
Good morning to our cherished viewers, and I want to let the good people of Ghana know that there's hope in all the hopelessness that they are going through. In the next, I think, about 59 days to come, some liberation will come. And this morning, I think that Tabitha has disappointed me this morning because I have been her ardent watcher. I've been watching her, and she has been one person that has always, professed the fact that as political communicators, we should always, center our communication on facts and not distortions. This morning, when she started her, submission on Galamsey, she wanted to paint the picture, or she indicated that she didn't want the discussion to be based on political, blame game. But unfortunately, she fell into her own trap by making or giving out a misinformation. Serwaa, Galamsey has been with us not today. From Kwame Nkrumah's time, Galamsey has been with us. But never has anybody in the history of this country seen this level of harm and hurt to our natural resources, and even to us as a people in terms of our health and what have you when it comes to Galamsey. The NDC government is not against mining, but all the NDC government is saying is that if we have to mine as a people, we have to do it responsibly. She indicated that Prof. Nana Upukwajiman encourage people in the western region that they should, be involved in Galamsey, or when the government comes to power, they will encourage them to do Galamsey. The video we have watched this morning has not only gone to disprove what she has said, but has also gone to vindicate the venerable woman that indeed, under no circumstance and nowhere has she indicated per the video we have watched, except if she has any other video. What Professor has said in Amihere West, as we have watched on this video, has been the NDC's position that yes, as for mining, it has been with us over the years. But if you are mining has to be done in a responsible way. She made mention that there are no jobs for the young people to do. There are no, money and all that, economic challenges and all what have you. But it does not mean that if you have to go into Galamsey, you have to do it irresponsibly. That when the NDC government comes into power, the NDC government is going to help and assist them to undertake Galamsey in a responsible way. She spoke in tree. She made mention of the degradation to land, water pollution of water bodies, and what have you. So where in this video has the professor indicated or encouraged or given hope to young persons in Amihere West or Central that when the NDC government comes to power, the NDC government is going to, encourage the activities of Galamsey? She made
one thing she said in the video that they're going to encourage people to mine without destroying the water bodies.
That is what I said. That's responsible.
Yeah, but the water bodies, we have been told that it's a red zone to even mine in the first place.
No, she didn't say in the water bodies.
She said we will mine without destroying the water bodies.
Yes, so you mine with them. It doesn't mean go and mine in there. So responsible mining, that will not harm, other water bodies or whatever. Okay. That is what she was trying to say.
Okay.
Now, Tabitha made mention of the fact that due to the MPP's, head-on dealing of Galamsey, they lost some seats during the 2020 elections, and you asked her to prove, and she's still struggling to do same. Serwaa, under in the Mr. Frimpong Manso's Boating's report, under the challenges point 3, this is what it says, and with your permission, may I read. Point 3 says, unwholesome behavior of some MPs and government appointees. It is on record that the activities of some senior members of the MPP accounted for the anger at community levels. Honorable Joseph Albert Kwam, the former MP for Mansun Kwanta, exemplifies such individuals. This is a member of parliament for the Mansun Kwanta constituency in Ashanti region, and at the same time a member of the board of the Minerals Commission. He used his position as a member of the Minerals Commission to acquire several dozens of land-scale concessions in his district, ostensibly for community mining purposes. He ended up selling these concessions to private individuals, including party members for which 100,000 per concession. This infuriated, and this is where my interest is. This infuriated the party in the constituency. So during the 2020 primaries, to select a candidate, the electorate voted against Honorable Kwam, the sitting MP, who was more resourced than other candidates. Although there were allegations that he camped delegates and attempted to bribe them, he lost to a lesser-known individual who did not have any financial muscle. Where in this report, from this report, clearly, it is the behavior of the people who attempted to use their offices, to shortchange the local people that infuriated the local people. And not because the NPP government at any point, because of the fight that the NPP government, put forth against the fight, against the fight of Galamsey, that led to this. And Serwaa, let me state that we have been in this country for some time. The NDC has been in power. The MPP has been in power. And from my earlier submission, I indicated that this is not the beginning of Galamsey in this country. We've witnessed Galamsey from Kwame Nkrumah's time till today. And nowhere in our history have we seen a national officer of a ruling government or a political party whose government is in power involved in Galamsey. we have same in the NPP, in the person of Madam Ketchenfua, their national women organizer. Under no circumstance or nowhere have we seen in the history of this country a regional chairperson of a ruling political party involved in Galamsey. We've seen that in the activities of, how do we call him, Mr. Chairman Wontumi, and many other persons. So if you sit here this morning to say that we should not have a political conversation on Galamsey, then I do not expect you to lay blame on NDC, a government that has been in opposition for 8 years. Your government is in power, state resources are at your disposal, you have command over all the security agencies and any other, units that, has the responsibility of fighting or helping us fight any menace that, this country encounters. And you come and sit here and want to still lay blame on NDC, a government whose president has assured the good people of Ghana that he was going to put his presidency on the line for the fight against Galamsey. And after 8 good years in power, you still want to sit here this morning and lay blame games on the NPP. If you are not incompetent and irresponsible, then I do not know what exactly my sister wants to do this morning. So it is not surprising that we are having the organized labor attempting or promising to go on strike action tomorrow over this Galamsey. We have all seen and we know what is happening. And organized labor encompasses or embodies the larger force of our working force in this country, and they also embody the consciousness of society. Today I have seen a release by Rastafarian Council. They have also added their voice that they believe in preservation of our natural resources and what have you, and so there's the need for them to add their voices to the fight against Galamsey. And what is the NDC promising? The NDC has said never again should in the history of this country mining be done to destroy our environment, water bodies and what have you. And so the NDC is going to go on an aggressive agenda to restore our environment. The NDC is promising to decentralize, all the issues that surround Galamsey, to involve the local people. Our chiefs should be involved. Responsibility should also be laid at their, table. When they are given that responsibility in those communities, they will have some oversight responsibilities, binding of Galamsey in water bodies, and many other policies that the NDC is bringing on board. So this morning, if we are having the conversation and we are saying that we do not want to politicize it, whether we like it or not, the politicians, and especially now as we speak, the NPP government is responsible for the fight against Galamsey, because it is only the NPP government who has every single resource available now and the mandate to fight the menace of Galamsey. And so the little I have to say is that the NDC is committed. And like Prof. Nana Opoku Ajman has stated, that is our hope, that is our promise to the good people of Ghana. That yes, mining is good. Mining should not only be left in the hands of, the multinationals. Then the locals should also be involved in Galamsey. However, if we want to fight, if we want to go into Galamsey, it should be done in a responsible way so that at the end of the day, in our search for money, we should not be dying.
Okay. Tabitha, okay, do you have the list now?
Yes.
So in the GTP, Alan has stated that he stated 10 points, and I read: aggressively enforce existing legislation and regulations against mining in water bodies and forest reserves in order to avoid the pollution of our water bodies and degradation of forest reserves. 2, develop and implement a new business model for dealing substantively with illegal mining, that is Galamsey, by facilitating the establishment of small-scale mining companies to be owned by groups of young people currently engaged in Galamsey. Grants the small-scale mining companies licensing rights, appropriate equipment and other facilities, technical and managerial assistance, as well as access to organized marketing and distribution channels. Undertake a comprehensive review of all legislation and regulations in respect of the mandate, management, and operations of institutions in the natural resource sector.
Okay, I think that the one of the key things, I don't know if it's contained in the GTP, is that Alan has said is that they will jail for life anyone who is convicted of engaging in illegal mining. Is that correct?
For life, that I didn't see that.
So
yes.
Then, because all these things you are talking about, we have existing laws, right, that already ban these things. But what makes this plan so different? The enforcement of it.
The enforcement of it.
But that's a problem that we have suffered for long. Yes. Even when he was in government, that problem existed.
Yes.
Enforcement of the law. How is he going to enforce it?
Sometimes, since just like our sister said, the people in MPP are involved. Some of them are involved directly. So enforcing the law is somehow not efficient because their subordinates are directly involved in it. So enforcing it becomes a problem. I hope you understand. So since they are spearheading it, you jail them and they have ways of freeing them. So
you don't know that you're running, your flag bearer says he will jail for life persons who are involved in illegal mining. You don't know that? Okay, it's something that he's advocating for.
Yes.
Let me come back to you, Tabitha.
So, Serwaa,
the video.
Yes, concerning the video of Nana, you know, we are trying to say that we want to discourage illegal mining, or what they call Galamsey.
Hajia, your flag bearer at the 2024 Institute of Economic Affairs meeting, he spoke there. So you don't know what your flag bearer has been saying?
I know.
Okay.
Serwaa,
yes,
please, if you may,
go ahead.
Kindly, you know, at times when we are making submissions and the questions are coming in so much, it can distort what you want to say. So I want to, yes, sure, it is. And you know, you are a communication expert. You should know that.
I'm not an expert.
No,
I'm just doing my job.
Okay, fine. So, so probably, I just want to say that at times, just let us flow a little before the questions come in. It helps a lot. It helps us to put our words together. You know, I must be honest that the Galamsey fight is one, and I will say it before I continue to say whatever I want to say.
Okay.
That if we should have a divided front, it will not yield any results. That is the honest truth I'm giving to you.
Okay.
And I would like to say another thing here, that there hasn't been any government in the history of Ghana that has been able to fight Galamsey fiercely like the MPP. Nobody, no government. And I'm telling you that even though we have used force in fighting Galamsey, it has still not yielded the results that we are all looking for. And that is why we are here today. That is why we are back to this mess, if I should put it that way. Now, if you look at, I think that was on Monday, Ghana Water Company wrote a letter and indicated that they have seen some reduction, that the turbidity levels of their water has almost halved, indicating that the pollution has been minimized. And I want to believe it's because of the government resurrecting, or should I say, enforcing, what they call it, the operation halt, or intensifying their operations. We have heard some of the interventions. We've seen that government has seized excavators. And I realized that my sister made mention of the fact that our National Women's Organizer, Madam Kate has been involved in mining. You know, she is a lawyer, and so I don't want to talk as though she spoke out of ignorance. But you should know that the woman you are talking about, Madam Kate, is not an illegal miner. She has a license, and anybody who has a license is not an illegal miner. She is a legal miner. She was unfortunately caught. You know, the force that they were using us at that time, they seized excavators. And let's not forget that excavators were introduced in our mining under their watch. And it is there. The history is there to prove it. That excavators people started using excavators in mining in Ghana when their president, or should I say their flag bearer, was president. And I saw a video where the then president, may God continue to rest his soul, Ivan Satamels, was addressing BBC concerning how devastating Galamsey has been in Ghana, admitting to the fact that they have actually lost the fight. And you could see shamfines and excavators littered everywhere. We are not talking as though we don't have a history. We inherited a Ghana that illegal mining had taken the center stage. And unfortunately for us, when they couldn't do anything, we came in and we decided to use force. And still the force backfired on our faces. Nobody can say we didn't fight Galamsey. And another thing, Akonta Mines. The man is not an illegal miner. Don't lump illegal miners with legal miners. That is why the legal miners are saying that they will also go on a demonstration. Because what people are doing is that they are lumping them together, and they who are involved in responsible mining are today going to suffer the consequences of people that are involved in illegal mining. You understand? Now, that is why I'm saying that we need to do this with a combined force. The media must come out, the opposition party and the current party. We should all come together and fight this. This has nothing to do with only the government. It has everything to do with the people and the way the people appreciate or want to do the Galamsey. I have seen videos of individuals coming out and insulting the president because he is banning illegal mining. I have seen young boys who can't even stand before me and insult me, make videos insulting the president. Now, these are the same people your presidential candidate is saying that if I become president, all these people, I'll give them amnesty. That is why I'm saying that we cannot fight it with a divided front. Okay. Now, you asked me to make mention.
The video. Yes. You admit
I'll
that.
Speak to it.
You speak to it.
I heard what she said. And do you know that the woman standing by her, she is known as the GHOne of her constituency.
The video before.
Yes, in the video. No, that parliamentary candidate.
Because you're talking about the
video.
video.
Yes, I'll speak to it. But I just want people to identify who was standing with Nana
Do you have evidence to that?
Yes, I have pictures of her here.
Doing what?
In the Galamsey mining site. I will send them to you, and I hope that you will bring them out. When she was even younger than now, she has flesh, of course. But those days that she didn't have flesh, you could see her. And I have a picture of her before and after pictures. Now that she has taken or put on a little weight, of course, maybe in future I also put on weight. But the thing is that these people are neck deep in the Galamsey. Your candidate that was standing with Jane Nana is a king, they call them queen paints of Galamsey. But you have this thing to talk about. It's not an allegation. I will share it with you, and I hope that you show it on television.
The pictures show that she's involved in Galamsey.
She's involved, and I'll send it to you. I don't have anything to hide.
I've seen those pictures you talk about. But
yes.
Is that enough proof that she's involved in Galamsey?
She is. She is. I'm surprised you don't know this open truth. But when she mentioned...
I don't know.
I'm happy you don't know. But when she mentioned Woon to me, you made it slide. She mentioned my national women's organizer. You made it slide. But that one, are you aware?
Woon to me has a...
But you don't know the woman?
Mining
I'm
license.
surprised.
Kate Jemfua has a mining license.
Yes, so she's not,
right?
They are not illegal miners. And I would like you to call her to order. She shouldn't lump them up.
You don't
they
have
are
proof,
not
actually. Do you have
illegal
proof?
Miners.
You don't
The candidate that was standing with Jane Nana is a queen pin of Galamsey.
Okay, but Jane Nana said that the people should continue.
Now, Jane Nana said something. That we will not come and ban Galamsey. And that is the same thing we are saying. We are saying that we have fought Galamsey with everything that we have. And still we have not seen results. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in his manifesto is saying that, one, I am coming to regulate Galamsey. And what I intend to do is that, one, I will make sure that EPA which is supposed to regulate these activities, are decentralized so that every district has an EPA office. Apart from that, he's saying that though we introduced a machine that we call the gold catcher, which is environmentally friendly, we realized that people could not still patronize it because it is expensive for them, though we acquired some for the legal miners. But now what we want to do is that we want to encourage community miners, whereby young people can also get involved. And how do we do this? We are going to establish a bank that will be responsible for helping these young people to come together and acquire an environmentally friendly gold catcher machine. That is what we are bringing on board. Another thing, our manifesto is saying that we have realized that when we introduce the gold policy, where we use gold instead of dollars to do some of our transactions, it will help a lot. And so we will encourage the gold miners to bring their gold to us to buy.
All right.
And so this is the comprehensive steps we are trying to take.
Okay.
And I'm saying that, listen, I have a little message for all Ghanaians.
Before we get to your message, let's go back to I've seen the article that you make mention of. My producer sent it to me.
Yes.
You sent another thing to him, that one of the seats.
Yes.
So this is what Benefsin said. She made mention of the fact that Benefsin released an article.
This thing I sent to
and this is what Benefsin said. I want to read it. Galamsey fight was the cause of NPP's parliamentary flops in the 2020 elections. He said that the ruling party with 169 seats after their victory in the 2016 elections lost 35 seats to the NDC and an independent candidate. He said this has a greater link to the party's fight against Galamsey in the country. He said that Galamsey is now a lucrative business, and supporters of the NPP who are active Galamsey participants didn't come out to vote for the NPP. They were apathetic, and that is why the NPP lost a lot of parliamentary seats. Nanado also won marginally, but about 500,000 votes because of this same issue. And then you make mention of Pristia Hunibali. You sent it to my producer.
Yes.
And one of the seats we lost is the Pristia Hunibali seats. And you mentioned Jomoro. And which other seat again? But
there's another one. I can't pronounce the word.
Pristia Hunibali seat has always been a swing seat.
Yes.
The NPP has won it. Hold on. The NPP has won it 3 times, and the NDC has won it 3 times. It's always been a swing seat. So where lies this talk?
Swing seat, because it depends on what is what they are moved by current trends. And at that time, it was one of the things that they did not want to hear as a constituency.
I want to ask you something. Why would the voters punish the MPs and leave the president who actually waged the war?
Do you know why?
I want you to watch this video. Hold on for me. Let's watch this video.
Suggestion. Assertion would have been consistent with the data. But the truth of the matter is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won in 19 constituencies in the Central Region, and the MPP won 10 or 9 seats. Typically, the vote at the presidency or the presidential election will mirror the parliamentary, except other factors.
So that's the Minister for Tourism and also Member of Parliament for the Secondary constituency. And I must give credit to Metro TV because that video is an excerpt from the Good Morning Ghana show on Metro TV, where a member of your government, in fact, he said that this assertion that you lost some seats because of the fight against Galamsey is not entirely true. And I've asked you that why would the voters punish the MPs and the man who waged the war and said the MPs didn't say that ban Galamsey. It is the president, but they voted for the president and decided to punish the MPs.
Yes. So you see, I'm just hearing this for the first time. I haven't seen this video yet, but I spoke to an issue that I saw, a report that I have read. And I think you also read the report. And what I said and what the report is saying, there is no difference. I can't speak to what he has said because I haven't seen the data he has seen to make these assertions. I sent another...
But I've just told you now that it's a swing seat.
Yes,
Christian Valley, for instance.
And I'm telling you that some of the swing seats, normally they vote based on issues that are making the news. That is how they vote. And so I cannot tell. And I don't know the data he has read and he is speaking to it.
I'll ask you something. In 2016, hold on. I'll read what you sent. Everything you have sent, I have read it. In 2016, when Mahama won Christian Valley, the MP lost. Actually, no, Mahama won, Christian Valley, and the NPP won the parliamentary seat as well. How do you support this data? Is it because that the MP was fighting?
Elections.
I know. I'm just asking you to support your assertion that they are fighting Galamsey and that's why they lost those seats.
You know, one thing I have realized is that the politics that will happen in my constituency may not be the same politics that will happen in your constituency. I know a constituency, or we know of some constituencies, it doesn't matter what a political party gives them, they will never vote for them. It is there, it is certain. That is why, since I cannot and do not understand the politics that went on in those constituencies, I don't want to say anything here.
So then you cannot say.
I can
so
only
this assertion
that is what I'm telling you.
You lost the seat because of the fight against Galamsey. It is not true.
Serwaa, I'm not speaking on my own authority. I sent you stories and I am speaking to those stories. That is what I want you to appreciate.
But I have also told you that the facts don't support what you are saying.
That is not what I'm saying. This is what I have seen, and I'm telling you that this is what I have seen. These are reports that I'm reading to you. They are not coming from me.
That's fair. Yes. But I'm also telling you that the facts as it is doesn't support these reports that you are giving. And even your minister has said that the facts don't support same.
So what are the facts? Because I want to see. If you read the Frimpong Boateng's report, and I want to read it here. The report added that, or revealed that the former NDC deputy minister, who is also an MP for Wasa East constituency, has been actively mining in the Subri forest for years. The report added that the NDC was given an advantage in terms of access to resources from mining after the army component of Operation Vanguard was withdrawn, almost 2 years before 2020 elections, which the MPP party officials complained about. These are reports of Frimpong Boateng also buttressing the point that the fight against Galamsey actually affected us. This is what the report is saying. And I'll always mention reports and speak to them because I have not done my own independent research on these areas to speak to data. But I can only speak to data that is available to me. And that is what I want to put to viewers out here. I don't say things that are coming from me. These are things that are coming from people. And Prof. Frimpong Boateng's report is one of the reports that is also buttressing the point that the fight against Galamsey put up by the MPP actually did us a disservice, and it is here. And so I don't know what the report or the data Ejapon Mensah got had and is speaking to. So kindly allow me speak to the data that I have available. Kindly allow me speak to data that I have knowledge of. And so I cannot add anything to what Ejapa Mensah is saying. That's one I can do. But I can speak to data that I have read. And I think Professor Frimpong Boateng's report is one of the reports that Ghanaians believe in, because they believe that he did it regardless of his party affiliation. And so he is saying that that a former deputy minister under the NDC, who also is an MP for Wassa East, he actively mined in the Subri forest, which is reserved. He did that illegally. And they said the proceeds of this illegal mining, what he did with it was that after Operation Vanguard, that the president instituted, got a bit relaxed because they thought that things were okay and they thought that, oh, we can now move out. They decided to take advantage and to go and mine illegally in unauthorized places. And then use the proceeds of those illegal mining activities to fund their campaign. This is what the report is saying. And so they were able to campaign actively against the NPP. That is why I'm saying that we cannot fight this Galamsey fight with a divided front. And we have all seen that if we don't pay attention to the way political parties are posturing themselves and both their actions and inactions, bringing about a delay in stopping illegal mining, then we will not get anywhere. Let's stop presidential candidates who go out there and tell people that when I become president, I'll give you amnesty. And I'm talking about His Excellency, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, that his video, that campaign that he staged was one of the reasons why people got emboldened and they were indulged in what? Illegal mining. And we have to desist from such kind of things. Another thing,
this report that you make mention of, that side, can you read it again?
Yes, he said, let me take it again. According to the report, the NDC did not only sponsor their candidates, but also supported independent candidates in the support strongholds of the MPP. In the, I can't pronounce
the NDC MP part is the one that I'm asking.
Yes, it's so you see, they are telling you how when we said we lost seats because of whatever, because of our fight against Galamsey.
Because my understanding of that part is
maybe that I can give it to you to read it.
I've seen it. My understanding of that part is on the NDC MP engaging in mining and using that mining to fund his campaign.
Not only
my understanding is not to get people or incite people to vote against the NPP. That's not my understanding. That's why I asked you to read it again.
Yes, so let me read it again. That according to the report, the NDC did not only sponsor their candidates, but also supported independent candidates in the support strongholds of the NPP. In the, I can't pronounce this way, Ivalo, please, I can't pronounce
in that constituency.
And Takwa constituencies. The report revealed that a former NDC deputy minister, who is also MP for Wassa East constituency, has been actively mining in the Subri forest for years, and it is illegal to actually mine there. He did it. The report added that the NDC was given an advantage in terms of access to resources from mining after the army component of Operation Vanguard was withdrawn almost 2 years before the 2020 elections, which the MPP party officials complained about.
Yeah, but nowhere in that report of what you have read said that it was, because there was a fight against illegal mining. What you just read, from my understanding at least, speaks to the fact that, the NDC MP got money, sponsored another independent candidate, and they won the seat, or I don't know, sponsored
they
them.
Divided the votes to
Well, it didn't mention the fight against Galamsey, did it?
Yes, they were talking about the fact that Operation Vanguard, after Operation Vanguard got relaxed.
So you mean that the president allowed the NDC to rather mine and make money to fund their campaign? That's what you're saying?
Yes, that's why
is that what you're saying?
Both the actions and inactions affected the campaign.
Okay.
So if, let's say, I am an MPP candidate, and maybe the seat that I am contesting, I need 10,000 votes to win. and the NDC, maybe they will need somewhere 8,000. They can decide to sponsor an independent candidate, and the independent candidate can come and take my vote. And before you realize, the NDC, even though will continue to maintain their 8,000, they win, and then I lose my seat. These are all things that people do underground. Honestly speaking, we understand it's a political season, and some of these things that they do, they may not come out openly.
It's fine. Tabitha, you've been speaking for a while. GHOne.
This morning, it's what? Women Crash Wednesday. And I know we have a lot of young women who are watching us. And so I would encourage that when we sit on TV, on occasions like this, at least, even if not for us and for our political parties, for the young ladies who are watching us and admiring us and wishing to be like us, we should try to uphold the tenets of integrity when we sit on TV. My sister this morning, please, when you were speaking, I never uttered a word, so don't even start it. Please, you had your day, I never uttered a word, so please.
Okay.
When she started speaking this morning, she painted the picture as though the conversation is not going to be a blame game conversation. But every single thing she has attempted to do this morning is to lay blames at the doors of the NDC. And you see how it works. Because nature does not support some of these things, you see how struggling she is this morning to defend what she's doing. I was expecting her, after you played that video on TV this morning, to apologize to the Venerable Professor Jenana Opoku Ajiman. Because every single thing she said here this morning about the woman, as far as that video is concerned, is false. She never did that. She went round about it. And she actually addressed me and indicated that I made a submission about bringing in their National Women Organizer, and she knows that I did not speak from the point of ignorance because I am a lawyer. I kept quiet because I knew when she finishes, I will have my time to address the issues. And I want to prove her this morning that indeed I spoke from the point of information and fact and not from a place of ignorance. Serwaa, the fact that you have a mining license does not mean that you cannot do illegal mining. It is the activities you put yourself or you conduct yourself in that determines whether or not your activity is illegal or legal. So to say that because Madam Kejimfua had a mining license, she couldn't have been involved in illegal mining, is neither here nor there. Why were her excavators bent? If she was not involved in illegal mining, why were her excavators? And this is something of public record. I am not the one saying it. It has come to the public, domain for a while now that her excavators were bent. Why were they bent? If it was not illegal mining, this morning she should tell us why the excavators were bent. And she also said the Amihere Central PC for NDC is involved in illegal mining simply because she saw her in a pit. I can tell you that, you see, when people are given licenses to mine and they do, responsible mining, there's land reclamation that is done. So the fact that you see her in a pit digging or mining does not mean she was involved in illegal mining. And I can prove to you this morning that that lady is not involved in illegal mining. After every single mining activity, they go back to restore the land. And that is what we have been calling for over the period. So all that she's done this morning, before we finish, I would, for purposes of, respect for the person of Professor Jenana Opoku, and so I was actually expecting you. Because I noticed you were trying to let her substantiate, the argument she made this morning against the woman, the claim she laid against the woman. And she was going about the bush. I was expecting that thing that was done to the woman's image this morning, you would call her to order to retract and do the right thing. Then again, assuming without admitting that the Amihere Central PC was even involved in illegal mining, the question we have been saying is that every single resource has been given to the government to fight Galamsey. What has happened to her? Your government is in power, and you are still laying blame games on the NDC, the NDC's candidates, when your government is still in power. How do we fight it? It is because your people are deep-necked in the Galamsey, so your government does not have the political will and the political appetite and might to fight Galamsey. Who made the declaration that party Hiansika in relation to Galamsey? Is it the NDC? So please come again. Serwaa, before I conclude, let me go back to the Mr. Frimpong Boateng's report. Under point 10, okay, paragraph 10 of the report, so-called big man above, Charles Owusu, Director of Operations Forestry Commission, because she's doing the blame game this morning, I want to let her know that it is the irresponsibility of a government that has brought us where we are at this moment, for us to still be talking about Galamsey this morning. Serwaa, this is what the report says, paragraph 10. On Monday, 11th January 2021, the task force entered a concession at a location called Bipot Tinting. We had been monitoring for some time. Residents in the area complained about harassment by Chinese miners. The damage to the forest reserve was unimaginable. Big economic trees had been felled and dumped into muddy water bodies to rot. Huge pits were scattered over dozens of acres of land. Nearby cocoa farms has been destroyed. 7 excavators were seized. As usual, so-called big men started calling. First was Mr. Charles Owusu, who claimed ownership of the concession and of the excavators. This individual happens to be the operations manager of the Forestry Commission. And there, he was mining in a forest reserve without permits and destroying forests, farmlands, water bodies, and indeed the entire biodiversity. Not long after Mr. Charles Owusu made his call, Fankesiedu Bekwe, popularly known as Protozwa, of the Office of the Chief of Staff, also called the task force and asked for the release of the excavators. What are you doing this morning? You don't want to lay blame game. Your government has been in power. Your president, who is the leader of Ghana today, who is the leader of your party, made a pledge and a commitment that he was willing to put his presidency on the line. After 8 years, after failing, you want to lay the blame game on the NDC. Please come again. We will not countenance that. And the good people of Ghana, the atmosphere and all the commentaries coming as far as this Galamsey issue is concerned against your government should point to the fact that your government has failed. And this morning, don't come here and lay blame games on the NDC.
Okay, but I'll come to you very shortly, Hajia. I mean, you talk about GHOne, and I have an audio of her saying, her people in 2021, for instance, saying that, the Operation Vanguard is burning her excavators. She's not involved in illegal mining. You don't want the NPP to say that the Amenfi Central parliamentary candidate for the NDC is involved in illegal mining because she was seen in a pit. But you are saying that because her excavators were burnt, it means that she is involved in illegal mining. But she and her people have come to say that they are not involved in illegal mining.
Serwaa,
yes,
you are a law student. A businesswoman such as Madam GHOne, if what were the steps that were taken by her, if indeed she was not involved in any illegal mining and such amount of money has been wasted, what is available to her? Has she taken any of those steps? The court is there for her to go and prove her innocence. Has she taken any such steps? And so in the absence of any of these, I have every single right to make those assertions.
So should we, with that same logic, should we also say that all these allegations that have been leveled against your candidates in Amenfi Central, she's had them? She's seen them.
Has her excavators been
her excavators have not been
so the point I am making is
this is a defamation issue. People are making false claims against her that she's involved in illegal mining. If it were you, would you not be bothered?
This shouldn't be coming from you.
I'm asking.
I'm coming.
Somebody says
I'm coming. Let me
you are
defend.
a thief. You are not a thief.
These are two different.
You are not interested in clearing your name.
These are two different issues. Madam GHOne having a concession and mining with pictures of her in a pit. Okay, and then I alleging that because I see her in a pit, she's involved in Galamsey or illegal mining. Then again, compared to the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Amenfi Central, also in a pit. And then because I see such a picture, I say that she's involved in illegal mining. If this is a comparison we are doing, then you'll be right to ask that question. What I am saying here is that on one part, this person's excavators were bent.
And the people said
in the fight against Galamsey.
It was wrongly bent.
And I am saying that what were the relief she sought? This is a businesswoman.
But she's not mandated to seek relief.
She has not taken any. Just
but
coming
she's not
out.
mandated to seek relief, is she?
You see, just coming out to say you were not involved in illegal mining, because it's your innocence you have to prove. You need to prove your innocence before the court of law. She's not mandated to, and so that particular, guilt lies or hangs around her.
So then that same particular guilt hangs around your candidate.
You cannot do the same, because here, somebody, when they do illegal mining, what happens? They dig, even with the legal mining, when they did that land reclamation. And so there's so many legal mining activities that go on where you see this pit, and after they go through the processes of restoring. So you cannot compare the two. So the point I am making is that our Memphis Central parliamentary candidate is not the first person to go through that process through illegal mining and have pit dug. But after that being done, land reclamation is done. The only point where I will accept any contrary view or opinion is where you come and tell me is that there's available evidence that after going through this, she did not reclaim the land, or she did not take the land to restoration. So the two are not the same.
Okay. Okay, let me come to you, Hadia. Is there anything you'd like to add, or you want me to move on?
No, I thought you were going to ask me a question. But
no, I mean, you have heard
I've heard both arguments, and then it's just the blame games you are doing. Ghanaians are not forgetting the fact that NDC and MPP make the parliament. They are both in parliament, and why are you not coming together to address the issue and always doing blame games? Since we have the majority whip, we have the minority whip, why are they not coming together to address this issue, and we doing blame games? Forgetting the fact that tomorrow there might be another demonstration or strike action. We are deviating and bringing up so many arguments up. The issue is still at hand. The issue is still there. Let's come together, address the issue. NDC, MPP should stop doing blame games. Ghanaians, it's high time we wake up and realize that they've both destroyed the water bodies together. They did it together. So it's a matter of fact that both are not in the position to help us. We are realizing the fact that both are not in the position to help us, because if they go to parliament, they are there together. They are there to make the decisions together. But because of blame games, is not giving any headway.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on. There's one more issue that I want us to look at before we wrap up, because our time is up and we have to go.
Just a sentence.
What sentence?
I'm happy you were able to let her understand that the fact that there are allegations doesn't make it a fact, and I'm happy you pointed those things out to her.
But the president said that if you feel your excavators were bent illegally, go to court. Why didn't she go to court?
She's in court. She's actually in court.
Oh, is she?
Yes, she is.
On the excavators?
Yes, on the excavators.
Okay, that's new information. I didn't know, I must admit.
Yes, and so my sister, I'm not a legal mind, and so I can say anything and get away with it. But I don't expect that from her, and I'm happy you actually set her on the right, path. Because when you come here and you join those of us, excuse me to say, who are not legal minds and speak like we do, then we should be questioning your why you went to school. Because see, I remember when they were during this crisis, they were talking about water body and stuff. And with my knowledge in water, I was able to let people understand that Ghana Water will never produce water that is not quality and give it to people. Because what the NDC was now doing somewhere last week was that they were now digressing to talking about the fact that the quality of water we are even drinking is now questionable. And that
Is it the NDC that said it?
Yes, I was on a platform with one of their communicators, and the person was advancing that agenda.
Oh,
and I decided to kill that thing there because I am a chemist. I'm a trained chemist, and I've worked with Ghana Water before, and I know that Ghana Water will never produce any water that is below standard and give it to us.
But the complaints of Ghana Water is that because of the pollution of the water bodies, they are unable to generate the capacity that ordinarily they would have generated.
That is a fact.
And
but
so
where
if
they were now questioning the quality of the water, that is where my problem is.
But no, but that's not from Ghana Water, because Tabitha, you are aware that in some communities, some people drink from the water bodies. And so it is not just the NDC, even doctors have come out to say, hold on, doctors have come out to say that children who are being born in such areas are being born with deformity. So the Ghana Water is there, but there are people who are drinking from these water bodies.
I can tell you on authority that the mercury which they use in mining doesn't cause deformity in children, especially physical deformity. So don't let anybody deceive you on that. We are not saying that mercury doesn't have an impact. It has. But one other truth is that mercury is waterphobic. So what it does is that when you use it in mining, it will go down. It doesn't even get to the surface. It is down there. It will not travel. And anybody that has come into contact with mercury can tell you this. And so let's not mix the facts with the fiction.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on.
Can I ask something? It's not just mercury we have that is polluting the water. Are you aware?
I'm aware.
It's not just the mercury we are talking about.
I'm only telling you that during mining, the only chemical they use in the mines.
But it's not just mercury that is affecting the water bodies.
The mercury, the other things that are causing it is not necessarily the mining. It is activities like, you know, this people discard what they call it, materials indiscriminately. For example, like car batteries, like car parts. Even
all right, let's move on, ladies. Let's move on. Let's move on.
They carry heavy metals, and let's move on. It washes them into the water body, so it is not necessarily.
Thank you. We have just a few minutes to wrap up. So on this one, I want us to be very brief on it. So yesterday we saw some George lead some people, members, or proponents of the what we call anti-gay bill, to march to the Supreme Court, present a petition to the Chief Justice and also the Attorney General on what he believes, he and his people believe, is a deliberate delay of the processes to get the bill passed into law. GHOne.
So, you see, every society has values, that help us to live as a society. And for us as Ghanaians, we are not an exception. And our values are the things that make us who we are. So you go to Article 11 of the 1992 Constitution, you would find our customs and practices as part of our laws. Now, you and I would agree that this menace of LGBT is something that every single aspect of us abhors. In this room, Serwaa, if you want us to vote whether or not we should accept LGBT, I am sure we'll have about 99.9% of everybody here, the totality of us here, voting against it. Now, Parliament has done its job of passing this bill, and it is left with the President to assent. Since February, the actions of the President as far as this bill is concerned goes to confirm that indeed he is not willing to, assent to the bill. And why am I saying so? His commentaries in the past, over the period, it is bound to happen, and what have you, all goes to confirm the President is not, in support, or, is not willing or ready to sign the bill. And that is why we are here. Indeed, Parliament has a procedure. If a bill comes to you and you have a reason for not signing as a president, there's a procedure. That's, I think, Article 106 of the 1992 Constitution makes that provision, but for purposes of time, I wouldn't want to go into that. The president has not going to, in fact, even transmission of the bill from Parliament to the President's office alone has become a challenge from February up till now. And now the song that is being sung is because there's a pending issue in court. Serwaa, I want to state on authority that it is not because of this pending case in court that the President is refusing to sign. Why am I saying so? If that is the case, the President would have allowed Parliament to do its job by passing same to his office while he awaits the verdict from, how do we call it, the courts. But even transmission alone has become a challenge. And why would I expect somebody who has said that the issue of LGBT is bound to happen in Ghana to act otherwise? on one hand, Bamia is in support of, Dr. Bamia is in support of LGBT, the bill. Oh, please, why? What's your problem? He is in support
But he has
of,
publicly said that he
no, that's
not,
what I'm saying. On one hand, he is against the LGBT practice.
Yes.
The president says it is bound to happen. So right now, and by their actions or the actions of the president, who is supposed to sign the bill into law,
the president said it is bound to happen.
Yes, on Al Jazeera, when he was asked and he was talking about advocacy, and you know that advocacy, you see, from his position where he was seated, he was doing advocacy for people, and immediately after he spoke, he made this statement. That was when we started seeing billboards and what have you, offices coming up and all that. He started advocacy. The NDC has been playing on it from Prof. Mills's time. May he so rest in peace. He indicated it is never going to happen. We are never going to accept it. President Mahama has stated the same. But I know that there was also a letter that was written by Mr. Amin Anta at the time to the presidency about the fact that should this bill be passed, then we are going to lose some monies in terms of aid and loans from IMF and what have you. If this is the reason why the president does not want to sign the bill, Serwaa, he should make Ghanaians know, rather than the lackadaisical attitude and now blaming same on the courts. When this same court, Parliament at the time, minority, had sent a matter to court, an injunction, a pending injunction in court regarding e-levy. But the president went ahead to pass the e-levy bill. So what happened to this one? So the same enthusiasm, the same energy that the Attorney General put into the e-levy bill, I was expecting the same thing to be done here. But of course, if the man at the top is saying that it is bound to happen, why would anybody, his appointees, be willing to take actions or to take steps that would help us to, see to the realization of this bill? So I just feel that it is some lack of, will on the part of the president that has brought us this far. But civil society organizations, everybody is speaking against it. And I know there are NPP people who are not in support of the practice of LGBT. And so I am calling on the president, he should sit up and do the right thing so that before he leaves office, at least with all the woes that he has planned this country to, if there's nothing at all, he should be credited for passing or assenting to that bill into law.
But if the NPC is so sure of coming to power in 2025, why don't you wait and pass it when President Mills becomes president?
So we know we are coming to power. The NDC is very sure we are coming into power. But for a bill that has been pending since February, so now how many months? It is worrying.
The affirmative action bill pended for years.
Affirmative action bill was not passed. It was just passed recently by Parliament and assented to. Yes. So I am talking of the fact that it has been passed since February and it's been so it is the assent that we have an issue with. The NDC is surely coming into power, and if the president doesn't sign, we definitely will sign it into law.
Yes.
No, but I'm surprised she's not aware that the president has assented to the affirmative action bill.
That's not what she said.
Oh, don't misquote me, please.
Okay, so maybe I didn't hear you well, but the president has assented to the affirmative action bill, and
so why can't he assent to this family values bill?
He will.
When?
I think I'm coming. Okay. So this is what is happening. You see, when it comes to the LGBT kill that we are talking about today, we all know that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been a human rights lawyer, and he has advocated for a lot of things that all of us in this country are benefiting. You talk about the right to information bill. He has been a very active, someone that was so loud about it. And today, we know that the right to information bill, it has been passed and people have access to information that they want. Apart from that, you talk about the affirmative action bill. And I always say, look, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been one of the presidents that has helped a lot of women in Ghana. When you look at education, a lot of women have benefited from him as a result of his free senior high school policy. I can tell you for a fact that where I come from, which is the northern part of Ghana, if you have 2 or 3 children in a house and they finish, let's say, JHS, and let's say even the girl passes and can go to secondary school, they will prefer to let the girl sit whilst the boy will go to school. But today, all these things have become a thing of the past because of the free senior high school that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has passed. And so he accenting to the affirmative action bill only tells you that he has deep commitment to the development of women. And the MPP will continue to support women in everything that we do. And we will make sure that we carry women along with us as we move this country forward. Now, if you look at LGBTQ, that particular thing that we've been talking about for some time now, you realize that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as she quoted, that he said that he cannot say that it is not going to be something that can happen in Ghana. He said that because he is a human rights lawyer. And as a human rights lawyer, you understand that individuals have their own individual interests and they can advance same provided it does not go against the laws of the country. And so if I am an individual and I am a human rights advocate, I can say this, but I cannot, or he as a president cannot say that if the people of Ghana say we don't want LGBTQ legalized in Ghana, he will use his powers to say that you must endorse or make sure that people practice that thing in Ghana. He will never do it. What I know is that there are some delays, but the delays doesn't mean that he will not accent to it or it will not be something that will be a reality. I can tell you with everything within me that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will be the president that will accent to the LGBTQ law. That one I can assure you that before he hands over power to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he will make sure that this is passed as a law. That one I can assure you.
In court, whether they have been decided or not.
That's why we want it to be expedited. I realized that she was saying that he should disregard whatever is going on at the courts and to accent to it. It doesn't speak well. I don't think, though with my limited legal knowledge, I don't think that when the case is still in court, you can go ahead.
But the president has 59 days. And you expect that in 59 days, all these 2 cases would have been heard and decided on.
So you see, that is why I'm saying that I will hope that they expedite it. I don't think it is right for him to go ahead and accent something that is still at the court level.
Okay.
That is why I'm saying that even with my limited knowledge in law, I don't think it is the right thing to do.
So okay. I think for purpose of my profession, and I want to 1 minute.
1 minute is too much.
Okay,
you hold on. Let me let her speak first. Yes.
Okay, so I'm passionate
about this thing because the delay is causing some unforeseen facts in our educational system. You remember 2018, there was this in our curriculum, all our textbooks were put to a halt. We don't actually have textbooks running to be used in our schools because of this bill, this thing not being passed. So I think that if the president is going to sign it, it's going to help even our educational system and the way we train and teach our kids in school. So we are pleading with him. Since the bill has been passed, he should please, I don't want to just talk much on it. He should sign it for us so that things will be easier for us, especially in our basic educational system. She was talking about free education. The system has really ruined some of our educational, I don't know the word to even use. Kids are coming out of BEC, coming with bad grades, and they are being pushed into secondary since is free.
It is free, but not compulsory.
It's free, so children are being relaxed thinking that it's free. And it is a very big issue since a lot of people are coming out graduates, but the basic things they don't really know.
So will Alan cancel free senior high school?
Not at all. Okay. We are not going to cancel it. But then the grading system that is pushing most of our kids into the senior high school should be looked at. Okay. That's a very big issue.
So please, let me just say something small. You see, there's this misconception.
We have to go. 30 seconds.
Students who get a certain grade are not supposed to go to school. Look, let me tell you, there is one thing we have to understand. Education is a right. It is not a privilege. And we need to start telling people these things. Okay. Education is a right. It is not a privilege.
Thank you.
And
thank you very much.
If the person is ready to learn, you let the person learn.
So
okay,
yes.
So
the point I wanted to make is that I never said the president should disregard the pending court case and sign the bill.
What do you mean by
what I said was that even the why are you distracting me? I never spoke when you were speaking. Why are you doing this?
I agree.
So what I said was that the transmission from even Parliament after the bill was passed in Parliament, the president decided not even accept it. But per law, he was supposed to at least accept it. And if he has any reason for not assenting, he will write back to Parliament and give the reasons. So even transmission of the bill to his desk has not been done.
Okay.
That is the point I was making. And then again, I never said he has not passed, assented to the affirmative action bill. What I said was that the affirmative action bill pended in Parliament for years when you asked that question. But with this one, the difference is that the bill has been passed since February by Parliament, and the assent is where the challenge is. So I want to make that, clarification so that nobody goes home with, a misconception.
So they finished the court case, and it is accepted.
Thank you very much. But you are promising that the president will sign it before he leaves office.
That is what.
And we are telling you that the president, we have 59 days to elections, but you believe that the case will be heard and decided for the president to be able to assent to it.
And on the unlikely event
Welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I am Serwaa Amihere. On Friday is International Day for the Girl Child, but we are taking the lead. And I'm joined in the studio by these young, beautiful girls. I'll be having conversations with them. I'd like to know what their plans are. Good morning. Which one is from Divicare School? You, right? Okay. Give me a second. Sorry. So, Bevelyn Adams from Divicare Academy, and Michelle Avadu from Amihere Community School. You're Michelle, right? Yes. And Ame J. Puku is from the Royal School. You're all welcome to my show. It's good to have you. So, Michelle, who's Michelle? You. What are your observations about what is happening in Ghana currently?
I've heard about Galamsey.
Okay.
Yeah, and then people are demonstrating that Galamsey should be stopped, and also labor unions are threatening to go on strike.
Okay.
That's what I've heard.
Do you know what Galamsey is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's an illegal way of mining.
Right. And do you believe that government should do something about it?
Yes, but not only the government, also the people.
Which people?
All of us in the country.
What can we do?
I think we should put in effort, or like organize programs to educate people about the dangers of and the effects of Galamsey on our country.
Okay, let me come to you. How old are you?
I'm 12 years.
You're 12 years. What would you like to be in future?
An orthopedic.
Why?
Well, at first I wanted to be a nephrologist, but because of my mom's condition, I have to change that and be an orthopedic.
Oh, is your mom watching?
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her?
I'm wishing her the best.
You're wishing her the best?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, there are many young ladies, young girls like you on social media who see a lot of things that are put on social media. I want to talk to you about social media. Do you think that it's good, it has positive impact on young girls like you?
Yeah.
Tell me, what are some of the things that you see on social media?
Well, now most students, they don't have mentors to help them reach the top and become future leaders. So this program will help especially girls to improve their standard and also fulfill their dream potential.
Social media?
Yes.
It will help them to fulfill their dream potential. Do you know what social media is?
Yeah.
What's a social media?
It's a general platform where people post videos and all that.
So how will that help them to fulfill their future goals?
Well, there are many educational things that people can learn on social media.
Like what? Tell me.
Well, like this program as an example.
Right. The show.
Yes.
Okay.
It will help girls because this is a great opportunity for us to be here and people for us to see as well. That.
Okay. Okay, now let me come to you. How old are you two?
12.
12. So you're also 12.
Yes.
Right. I see that you've written a lot of things down. What is it? Share it with me. What have you written down? The things you want to discuss with me. Like what?
Like what the International Girl Day means to us.
Okay, tell me. What does it mean?
For me, it means like the girls in this world will be celebrated on this day, which is 11th October. Yes. So on this day, girls around this world will get to share what they have with them, what is happening to them. Yes.
So what is happening to you?
To me.
Or to girls?
Some are not getting proper education, like the education they deserve. And some are just being mistreated all over the world. Yes.
Yeah? And you'd like to see a stop to it?
Yes.
What do you want to be in future?
I want to be a medical officer who is specialized in the stomach, a gastroenterologist. Yes.
I see. Do you think that Ghana should have a female president?
Yes.
Why?
So that the feeling that she has, like with the girls, the female in this country, they will like
they will feel like how they are feeling and then act on it. If it's wrong, they will do something to stop it.
Okay. Who is the president of Ghana?
Nana Akufo-Addo.
Do you think that he's done well as president?
Not like some things he's doing is not helping Ghana.
Like what?
Most people in Medina...
Nobody's going to do anything to you, so talk to me.
Most people in Medina is just saying that there are too much accidents happening there, so they need an overhead. But them too, they are not using the overhead that is in front of them. So like, Akufo-Addo should listen to them more and then act.
But he put the overhead there for them.
Yes.
And they are not using it.
Yes.
How is that his fault?
It's not mainly his fault, but the people too are part.
The people are also part.
Yes.
Okay. Beverly, I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think that Ghana deserves a female president?
Yeah.
Why?
Because now most boys don't respect girls and they're right. And
they don't respect girls?
Yes.
Why?
It's like a way that boys are meant to be in higher positions. Yeah, so this will help the girls to express themselves more.
I see. Who do you think has been the best president of this country so far?
Well, every president is helping, but we are not helping ourselves.
We are not helping ourselves?
Yes.
As a people?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because there are rules governing us and you don't abide to that. And also like the Galamsey issue, we have to also help to stop it, but you rather want the president to take the action, and that wouldn't help.
Okay. Now, Michelle. Michelle, she says that we are not helping ourselves as a people. Do you agree with her?
Yes.
So you think the president is doing very well?
Yes.
But what can we do to help the president?
I think we are ignorant. Like, some people don't really listen to the law. So it's not really the president's fault, but we are also part of it.
We are also part of it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want all of you to... I'm going to ask you this last, and then I'll hand over the show to you. So who would like to host the show?
I would like it.
Present it. Who would like to present?
I would like it.
You like to present. Okay, you all present and ask yourselves questions. You can ask me a question. Don't ask me bad questions. You need skills. Now, tell me, what are some of the troubles or the problems that young girls like you go through? In school, at home? Tell me. Michelle.
Low self-esteem and gender inequality, and then also lack of education.
Let's talk about low self-esteem. Why do you say that?
Some girls don't really feel confident to stand up and talk for themselves because they feel like they are of no use and nobody will be there to listen to them, so there's no need for their voice to be heard.
At 12 years, you feel that nobody wants to listen to you?
No, not really. Not for me, but...
Yeah, I know. For some people,
yes.
That's how they feel?
Yes.
Wow. How about you?
Yeah, sexual violence.
Sexual violence?
Yeah.
You have friends who are going through it?
Yes.
What happened?
Well, sometimes the girl in class, she's not all that confident to express herself, and so sometimes the boys molest her in class.
They molest her in class?
Yes.
What do they do to her?
So they play the game truth or dare, and when a boy, they always choose to dare because the boy would dare you to touch a girl's butt, also touch their breast, whilst that isn't what a girl likes, and most boys do it.
And they do it?
Yes.
Have you told your teachers?
Well, yes, the teachers know about it.
And what do they do?
They want them back. The boys.
They still do it?
Yes.
I see. Sexual violence?
Yeah.
How about you, Amma?
Lack of water supply.
Lack of water supply?
Yes.
Okay.
In the villages, most girls don't really go to school early because they need to go to the riverside and go and fetch water for their parents or their family members to use. So like the government should bring something that will help them not to go to the far extent to like fetch water and bring it, or else they'll be late to school every day, every time.
Okay, I see. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to take over the show. So 1 minute for each of you. Host the show, present the show, and you can ask your mates questions or tell me anything that's on your mind. Go on. So who starts? Can you ask first? Who do you want to ask them? Ask them. Me?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
I want to ask that if you had the chance to give a girl a superpower for a day, what superpower would it be?
Me? To look into the future and see how bright her future will be and what she will become and what changes she can bring to the world. That will be the superpower I'd like to give a young girl. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. How about you? Quickly.
Okay. Confidential superpower.
You'd like to give her confidential superpower?
Yes.
That's very lovely.
Girls have to be confident, and they have to see to you that they have a bigger dream ahead of that, so they have to work towards it.
Right. That's great. Do you have anything?
Influential superpower, like whatever they say should come true, because they don't have time, they don't have the chances to do that what they want to do. So that time will be their chance to say, and what they say will come true.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies, for coming on the show. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I'd like to have you back again some other time so we continue with our conversation. Are you still scared, nervous, or you're fine now? You're fine now. All right, thank you so much. Michelle Avadu, she's from the Amihere Community School, and Beveling Adams with David Care Academy, and Ame J. Puku from the Royal School. Thank you so much. Stay with me. After the break, there is more. This is GH Today.
There, welcome back. You're still watching GH Today here on GHOne Television, and we're excited about our next conversation because our next conversation is with a woman who is very well accomplished, and we love celebrating women here at GHOne TV. And today being a Wednesday, and Woman Crush Wednesday, we are crushing on her too. And our guest in the studio this morning is the founder and CEO of the Zito FASMA. She's a seasoned financial professional with over 30 years of experience obtained in several multinational organizations, which are all recognized leaders in their own business sectors. And her finance working experience is international and spans 3 different continents, from USA to Africa to Europe. And it is also distinctively diversified and includes several business sectors like telecommunications, hospitality, logistics, construction, FMCG, banking, consulting, and oil and gas. So she's a leading person in all of these areas. And even when it comes to oil and gas, she's one of the, or should I say, she's the pioneer woman when it comes to women in finance in oil and gas. And that's whom we're talking to today here on GH Today. And very excited to introduce Gillian Salter to you this morning. And she's also doing ministry.
And it's Slater.
Slater.
Yes, I know.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. And
yes.
I'm kind of looking forward to this conversation.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
You for
and
lovely introduction.
It's great to have you here in the studio.
Yeah. Right.
The last time you were here, we were talking about Life Check.
Absolutely.
How did that go?
That was amazing. It really was. We touched like 16,000 people's lives, which was the most important. It was an act of giving back to the community, and we focused on the people in the Teshinungwa area. So I kind of think when we saw what the outcome was, it was really worth all the effort, and thanks to everybody that kind of supported us and joined us to achieve this. We're looking for greater heights beyond 16,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
I mean, so you accomplished in all of these areas, worked in all of these industries all across the world, and now you're doing some form of ministry.
Yes.
What's that like?
That is phenomenal. There's nothing more fulfilling than working for the house of God, and there's nothing more humbling than doing that. And I'm saying humbling because my last major role being the finance director for Tallow, you're dealing with multi-millions and billions of dollars and kind of controlling that, how it's used and how it's planned for. And then you go to the house of God and you're dealing with CDs and pesos. And so it kind of lets you understand that it's a wide spectrum. Mm-hmm. But it's more fulfilling in your heart that you're giving back. And I kind of think when you've worked for many, many years, mm-hmm. you get to a point after you've built your career, you've got to understand that you need to give back, you need to develop people, you need to give back to the society and to the people that supported you on your career path.
Mm. But what's the story? What's your story, you know, because you're a leading woman in many of these areas, especially even in the oil and gas sector.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that you were in charge of finance for Tallow Oil.
Right.
Actually the first woman in that industry.
Yes.
What does the trajectory look like, you know? How did it all happen?
You know, my story I kind of find unique and very interesting because you did mention that my background is extremely diverse.
Yes.
I mean, I've never touched any industry twice. So you can imagine the amount of pressure that puts on you to prove yourself, because as you progressively advance, you don't have the chance to make the mistakes that you made as a novice, but you're supposed to enter an industry and be impactful. So for me, I think what I give to most people is the understanding that your finance background is totally transferable. Mm-hmm. You've got to be able to analyze, plan, and be able to look at things and foretell what is coming from what you're seeing. So you can transfer from any industry to the other. I mean, going into Tallow, mm-hmm. oil and gas, I had no oil and gas background. And everywhere I went, at Vodafone, I had no telecom background. UT, I had no banking background. But the moment you hit the ground, you understand that mm-hmm. you need to deliver You need to give your best, and you need to be able to prove why you are in that position to lead them in the finance arena.
Did you always want to work in finance when you were growing up?
Oh, no.
Is it something you wanted to do?
No, I think it's a punishment. But
how did that happen?
Okay, I started off, I remember I went to Legon, shout out to all old Legonites. I did a combined degree, which was French and linguistics.
Right.
Totally nothing to do with finance.
French and linguistics.
French and linguistics.
At Legon, at the University of Ghana.
Yes. And
one would wonder where the finance came from.
Exactly.
Because French, linguistics.
Exactly. And when I remember I was on my way to McGill to do an MBA, I still hadn't figured out what I wanted to do in life. So don't lose courage if you haven't figured out what you want to do in life when you're at that stage. But life is so weird, and unlike the way people typically pull their career progressions, I didn't pull mine like that. I was looking at the Financial Times on a Sunday, and I thought, which jobs pay the best? Then I worked backwards. If that pays the best, that's what I'm going to learn. I need to pay my bills. But so I dropped into finance in a very strange way. So my background is both accounting and finance,
right,
which is a fantastic weaponry for doing analytical work, because you can focus on the historical, which is the past, which is your accounting, and then you can begin to look into the future, which is more your finance acumen that comes to play. So I lived on 3 continents doing financial work, UK, America, and now in Ghana. I've been in Ghana for 14 years now, and it's never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. Yeah.
Was it a difficult journey?
No,
it was transitioning because you saw the ad, you thought, okay, this could pay well, and so you wanted to get into finance, and so doing that transition. Was it a difficult thing to do?
No, the transition wasn't. I remember my father had a friend who looked at me when I said I was going to do ACCA, and he said to me that even people who had done undergraduates in business administration and accounting are not passing ACCA. And so why would you, the French and linguistics, get far? And I looked at him and I thought, you're the reason why I'm going to succeed. Because the moment, maybe that's part of my DNA, the moment that you tell me I can't do it, that's when I decide I'm going to do it to prove to you that I can do it. So did the ACCA, went on in an MBA, ended up in America, and then even to transition from Europe to America was interesting, because the Americans didn't even look at my work experience from the UK as relevant, because I didn't have US work experience.
Right.
So I had to strategize on how to break into the American market, which was very interesting. And you've got to use what you have in your hands. So I looked for someone whose background, he was ex-Arthur Andersen, and I realized that's the Queen's auditors. And I thought, okay, let me contact that CFO, find some way of introducing myself and break through. And Marriott gave me my first chance in the US of A.
Right.
And it was the most revealing financial experience for me. It's a real finance powerhouse. It made me understand how organizations grow and get to be massive based on their strong finance acumen.
So you worked in the US market for how long?
For 18 years.
18?
18 years.
That's long.
That is long. And I saw it all in finance. There's a reason why America is known as corporate America. You found that coinage came as corporate America. You really have to prove yourself. There's no free lunch, there's no free ride. If you can do it, you will be given the opportunity to do it and prove yourself. And if you can't do it and you fail, you'll be given the opportunity to fall on your sword and bow out to somebody else who can do a better job than you. So yes, America took me through the grind, and I got the different positions that I held in America. I left Marriott as their director of financial planning and analysis, joined U.S. Food Service, which is the U.S. second largest logistics company, as their director of capital planning and analysis. Then I went into consulting, valuation, and transaction advisory. So I saw quite a bit.
So quite a bit.
Yeah.
So when you compare the U.S. financial market to, say, a place like Africa or even a place like Ghana, and how we do things, what are the things that you see which, puts them seemingly well above us, with regard to the financial acumen or power whatever it is that they have over us?
Okay. I think a couple of things. I talk about discipline, governance, and also matching the right people with the right jobs. You must be able to do what you've been assigned to do and prove yourself. There's a pride in your job. People like to own. There's the ownership. You own what you're given. You're accountable for it, and you want to excel at it. And then you have a lot of people that mentor you along your journey, which is one thing I will never forget, because you have people that lead you and teach you and encourage you to be the best that you can be at what you're doing. And that is crucial and critical. So you're always thinking about the succession planning. It's like it cannot be avoided. You've got to always think about succession planning. You hire people, they don't intimidate you. You hire them because they can deliver, and then you expand and develop them so that they can be better than you when they take over from you. So I think those are the fundamentals that you find there that kind of works.
And being a woman working in all of these sectors, you know, and globe-trotting, or should I say continent-shopping, globe-trotting or continent-trotting, however you want to call it, and being a woman working in finance, you know, in all of these big portfolios, is that challenging? Because I mean, even we are in the 21st century, and so people don't say that anymore. It's a man's world anymore. But people would say, probably when you were starting out and trying to break in, it was a man's world, you know, so to speak. And here you are, strong, vibrant woman, you know, pushing through, breaking the glass ceiling. How was that? Did your gender ever become an issue or a barrier at any given time?
You know, I never used what the outside world would consider a handicap to define me, because mine was to prove myself. I mean, because I realized my counterparts, be it masculine or feminine, if you cut us all, we'll bleed red blood, and we all breathe the air. So it was like, I was not going to limit myself to the fact that it's intimidating. And interestingly enough, quite a number of the departments that I have run in my life have been predominantly male. Just a whole lot of men. So of course, you have to prove why you lead a group of strong, powerful men. And you prove them with your brain power and in your delivery and in your governance and what you stand for. You know, and then they build their confidence in you. You've got to be able to impart their lives. So there was never like I was never granted the ability to be a ceremonial head. It was always roll up your sleeves and deliver. And as you said, different continents, in certain places your limitation might be female, but in other places it will be female and you're black as well, and you're also African as well. So you're coming from all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, it's like you switch. I always say you switch and show what you are and prove why you were you. And then the rest becomes history.
Was there any motivation, you know, for, you know, there are people who usually would work in one place or one industry and just, you know, really stay there the entire careers, but you have worked across multiple, from telecommunications, you know, to oil and gas, you know, to this and to that. Is there any particular motivation for, you know, trying your hands at and excelling in all of these different sectors?
I think the motivation was curiosity. And actually defining what can you take. It's almost like somebody that works out, a bodybuilder. You keep increasing the weight and seeing that, can I do it? Can I do it? And then after a while, that weight becomes minor. You go on to something higher. I've just kind of curiously looked at places and then tested it. And it's a very interesting kind of journey, because you constantly put yourself at test. You constantly put yourself at scrutiny. So you have to have a strategy to be able to be successful in these different, because I don't kind of go into these places and hit the ground running. No. First of all, you've got to be humble enough to identify who is there and who has talent. And then you use that opportunity to educate yourself by asking for their support. And then you enhance it with what you have, and then you become, you get on your winning path. So I've had a lot of people give me help, because I've always entered new sectors. So I've always had to be able to identify the talent that is there. And it's usually I'm looking for the technical talent, not the finance acumen, because I come with the finance acumen. So I need the technical talent on understanding that industry.
Right.
Yeah. And I think one of the most interesting ones for me was actually Vodafone. Yeah, because that was where I would say the rubber met the road. For me, Vodafone was my entry into Ghana. So I'm coming from the US into Ghana. Vodafone brought me into Ghana. Vodafone had taken over a government institution. Vodafone is like one of the world's leaders mobile telecom companies. It has high standards. It was taking a government entity and trying to put it into its big empire and to operate as it would. So coming into Vodafone was interesting. And Vodafone, I did like 3 different jobs at Vodafone in 18 months. Moved from technology controller to financial controller to head of finance decision support. And each time it was applying the fact that I will come and I will fix it.
Right.
I will come and it says, what do you see? As the Bible says, and when I saw what I saw, I had seen well. So then I could address it and I could fix it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you eventually went to Tullow.
Yes. In between,
got into
oil
and gas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before oil and gas, I went into UT Holdings, which was the first indigenous company that I worked for in my life. So, and I thought, okay, let's take it into the indigenous arena. So it was great. I started with a holding company as CFO for UT Holdings. So of course that was the conglomerate where you had the bank, you had the insurance, all of that, the logistics. Looked at trying to fix and put some governance and some order to what I had met. Then I did a stint. I got moved from the holding company to the bank because, of course, the bank was facing several crises in our banking environment. We came in as the final team to try to help change or set apart a transformation part or recovery part for the bank before the whole banking sector crisis. So after UT Bank, from bank to oil and gas, interesting swap. So Tallow gave me that opportunity and they put that trust in me because I remember one of the questions I was asked was, why do you think you can do this job when you don't have an oil and gas background? But I've heard it at every job I go to. Why do you think you can do this when you don't have? Nobody focuses on what you have. They focus on what do you don't have. But what is in your hand is more powerful. So when I went to Tullow, I said to them, right, I don't have oil and gas, but you have eliminated a lot of your positions in your finance. Your finance controllers are all gone, and they have oil and gas, but I don't. But I'm here to prove why I don't need the oil and gas to understand your business. Just give me a little bit of time. I will restructure, and then we will transform, and we'll put it back on a good footing. So yes, Tullow was cool.
That's interesting, and and getting in there, our oil and gas sector seemingly, it's it looks like it's. I don't know. What would you say is the state, in your experience, the state of the country's oil and gas, petroleum sector? Are we getting it right with regard to what the country can really benefit essentially from having all of these oil fields that we discovered and exploiting it?
That's really good and a really loaded question because. Do you have like a week for us to talk about this?
Well, we have, 5 minutes?
Okay. So, Ghana's oil and gas, I want to set a tone for people to kind of understand a little bit, and I'm focusing on upstream oil and gas. If you understand our history, we basically began, Ghana's first discovery was the Jubilee Field, and we did that in 2010. It came live through Tullow. And then 10 came live 2016, and Sankofa and the ENI came live 2017. We're still kids. When you kind of think when oil and gas began in the world, it was like 347 AD in China. Then when you start to look at the superpowers inside oil and gas, you realize that organizations like ExxonMobil, they had their genesis in Rockefeller. And Rockefeller dates in 1865. What I'm trying to lead to you is positioning us as Ghana. Even when you look at Nigeria began their oil in 1958. We are teenagers. I mean, we're in 2024 and we began 2010. And so we've done this for like 14 years. Now 14 years has been a journey. We did well in finding oil in the first place. It was fantastic. And not only did we find oil, we didn't just find oil, because you can look for oil and end up with quality that is not commercial or not commercial quantity. But Jubilee is world class. It's known as sweet crude, and therefore it trades at a premium versus 10, which is still on the waters of Ghana. Now Jubilee's done well, Jubilee's producing, but since if you think about it, since 2017, which was when ENI also went live, nothing's gone live since then. Now there's one thing about the oil and gas industry and the issues that you want to, at worst case, maintain your production level. That's as worst case. But at best case, your aim and your ultimate drive is to increase and accelerate your production level. Now, when you're starting to face reduction in your production level and stagnant development in your area, it's cause for alarm. It's cause for alarm primarily because you have huge investments. If you look at how much has been invested in Ghana, oil and gas upstream, it's been about $24 billion, right? So you have a lot of money at play, and people, this money is patient to some level, but it's a lot of money to just keep sitting and hoping to recover or meet your rate of return. You need to make sure that you keep that flow going and you keep being successful. So we've seen some stagnation in, as you can see, we're not seeing news articles that are telling us there's been a new
find.
It's already begun producing. EP, we have more than 3 fields going. We have 3. We've had 3 for a long time. Yeah.
And that needs to change.
Absolutely. We have the oil. We've been blessed with the oil. And oil has no value unless you bring it up to the surface. Because if you think about it, the biggest reserves in the world is Venezuela. But Venezuela is not the biggest producer. The US is the biggest producer, the shale oil. So there's something about it's valueless if it's still stuck in the ground. And you've got to have deep pockets and high risk appetite to go in and bring that oil up, because you can either strike it or not. Nobody can see the depths of the soil. You use seismic to determine that, and even that is a hit or miss. And you can drill a well, spend about $65 million drilling a well, and it will be a dry hole. Nothing comes out of it. You need to plug it. Your $65 million just said goodbye to you. Yeah. So I think there's room to develop more, because until you develop, it's not going to come up on its own.
We'll need to continue this conversation. It's not over yet.
Yeah.
And so we'll definitely need to see you again in the studio to continue this conversation. But unfortunately, for today, this is all time will permit.
Okay.
But I'm grateful, Gillian, that you joined us in the studio. It's been amazing talking to you.
Awesome.
And it's been a blessing, a real blessing having you here in the studio. Gillian Slater, the founder and CEO of Zito FAMSA, right?
Yes.
And last week she gave us a life check. Today she's giving us another life check. But Spiky is here in the studio with Tech Daily. And Spiky, good morning.
Good morning, Lantam. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What's happening?
The usual tech, ones and zeros, bits and bytes. Here to give you the latest, or a tip that you probably didn't know. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. What have you got for us today?
I'm talking to you, mind me.
I'm just
give me the vibe.
I'm waiting.
Me and you, we vibe.
I'm waiting for you to give me the good stuff. That is all I'm interested in. Today, I'm interested in the good stuff. So give us the good stuff.
Okay.
What's up?
Okay.
What's happening?
You know what it is when people are always complaining about data, but then their attitude, whatever they're doing on their devices, is actually the reason why they're running out of data. Now, a typical example is people who use Google Maps, myself included. Every single time we're going to use Google Maps, we'll go back and then go and search for wherever we're going, and that's using data again and again and again. But did you know that you could actually download your maps and keep them offline, so you don't always have to go in and then use your data again? So once you open your Google Maps, once again, let me just show you, where you have your profile picture, you just go over there and you tap on it and scroll down, you'll see offline maps. Now, what offline maps does is that you can select an area on your map, and it will download it and store on your device. So whenever you're going to, look for a location that you're going to navigate to, and you want to do that offline, maybe you don't even have data, maybe you're trying to save data, you download that map of the area. So I'm going to download a map of the area which I usually use, which is from home to work. And I hit download, and then once it's connected to the Wi-Fi, it will download the whole map of that area. As you can see, I already have home. So any area around my home will be downloaded. And once this is done, anytime I want to navigate around that area, I can do that offline. I don't need the internet, and I don't need to use my data and run out of data or get lost because data ran out. You can get it offline. So just a very quick tidbit. And Lantam, did you learn something new today?
Yes, it's something I've really never thought about.
Oh, really?
I'm always dependent on the internet, right? And when I don't have data, or my data runs out and I'm going somewhere, then I just realize that I find myself wanting. And so I quickly have to find a way to get data to continue.
There you go.
But with this, I can gradually download Google Map data for various places that I usually would go to, so that even when I don't have data, I can get there and have navigation.
Absolutely.
Turn-by-turn navigation. This is brilliant stuff. Thank you
As
very
usual.
much, Spiky.
Thank you for having me. And that's it for today. But I'll catch you on Friday with the latest in tech trends, right?
Yes, and we'll talk about all the things that are happening.
Yeah, I've got some scoop for you.
Hopefully, it's, buying baby oil. Right, so before we wrap this all up, let's do our birthday wishes, beginning with our very own Musa Lansa, our colleague here at GHOne Television. It's your birthday today, and we are waiting for you to bring us the birthday food and the birthday drinks, and we'll look for a birthday cake for you, and then we'll celebrate you. Musa Lansa, happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday to our very own Jones Aji. You've proven yourself over the years, and we admire the young man that you are growing into. So keep up your good work, and the world awaits greatness. So this one is coming from Ohima to Jones. But Jones is also our colleague here at GHOne TV. And so, Jones, we're also waiting for the food and the drinks, and we'll look for a cake for you, and then we'll cut it and celebrate you. This one is happy birthday to you, one of a kind. You deserve everything that the special day brings. Wishing you the best birthday, Jessica. And this is from your new man. Jessica, your new man says happy birthday. Okay. Your new man says happy birthday. Let's move on. This one says, happy birthday to my sweet and lovely friend. 7 years of celebrating your day together, and I want to do it for the rest of my life. I love you, Eve, and I pray the good Lord blesses you with your heart's desires. Enjoy your special day, Eve. This one is anonymous, but Eve, whoever sent this message to you, says that you are sweet and you are lovely. So I guess you know who it is. Happy birthday, Barbara Amponsa. Words alone are not enough to express how happy I am that you turned a year older today. You are not only strong and wise, but kind and thoughtful as well. Your birthday is a perfect opportunity for me to show you how much I care and how grateful I am to have you in my life. Sending you a happy birthday wrapped with all my love from Kekeli. So Barbara, Kekeli says happy birthday to you. Also, our next birthday wish is to my only Rabiatu Mohammed. I am happy I found you. Don't think much about the distance between us. Just remember, the love is deep. From your man, the number of men who are anonymously wishing their girlfriends happy birthday today. Please, review yourselves. We need to know that you are the one celebrating. Okay. This one says, wishing my bestie is, the absolute best on her best day of the year. Cheers to more fun, more memories, and cake. Happy birthday, Amy. And this is from your male friend, you owe cake. So, Amy is Iman. And Iman used to work with us here at GHOne TV. She did an internship. And so, yes, Iman, or Amy, as they are affectionately called. Happy birthday from all of us. This one says, happy birthday, success. May your special day bring as much happiness to you as you bring me every day we are together. This one is from Adepa. You see, the women are mentioning their names. The women lovers are mentioning their names. The male lovers, they are hiding. Why are they hiding? Why are you hiding? Anyway, happy birthday to everybody. And on that birthday note, we'll wrap up GH today here on GH1 Television. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back again with another edition of the show tomorrow. I've done this with my co-host, Serwaa Amihere. My name is Lantam, Papanko.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Miss Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GH1 van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup. Because on a production, you see a number of people in the van. And so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets. And so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the track and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.